What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. It is week 3. For those of you who don't know, I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network, and I'm here with my boy Fishin' Frank. What's up,
What's
Frank?
up? What's up, peoples? Welcome back. Got another exciting week. What a week of football.
It was good, man. Finally got an onside kick. It was the only thing we were like missing in week 1. So we got an onside kick here. And there was a lot of stuff going on. So we're gonna go through kind of, go game by game like we did last week. Go through the games, give you guys our waiver wire picks, and kind of show you where we're at. Of course, we'll take your live Q&A in the chat, so make sure you drop it down there. If you are new to the channel and you're checking us out for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. If you already are subscribed, or if you just subscribed, hit that like button. It helps us just as much. We're here to answer your questions, get your lineups and your rosters right for this season, for the upcoming week, and help you guys bring home those championships. And speaking of championships, try to get some underdogfantasy.com.
Yeah.
When you do, check them out. Get your best ball in there. They're doing the best ball resurrection right now. Again, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up and make your first deposit, they will match you up to $100, 100% match. Use that promo code Get Right when you do, and you'll get that match, man. Get in that best ball resurrection. It starts in week 6, runs through week 17. It's kind of like a redo. Get some more lineups in there with what we kind of know now. And it's just kind of like a mid-season kind of pickup from there. So it should be a lot of fun. First place is 100,000. So get in there and check it out. So we got stranded on second with Tony Clark in the house. What's up, man? I see you got a question already for us, so we'll get to that here soon. Drunk Squidward in the house. What's up, Squidward? How's it going, brother?
One of the best
Um,
names.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. So just overall, man, what are your kind of takeaways here? From just this Sunday. We know you're actually out in Vegas, kind of partying it
Yeah.
up,
Oh
watching the
yeah.
games on the big screen poolside. So that was awesome. What up, Fantasy Fish? And so yeah, man. So tell me what you kind of thought just overall in this week's games and
You
the
know what?
two Sunday
The
or Monday
biggest
night
takeaway
games.
that I took away was some of these comeback wins. The Jets doing some things. And the Giants getting a second win, also coming
2
back.
and
And I
0.
and I
Shout
was
out to
like,
Classic Mike.
what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like some of those things were just kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like those are the ones that I was like, these teams are like doing, you know what I mean? Even the Jaguars, I was like highly impressed with them shutting out the Colts, putting
Yeah.
them in the zero. I was like, whoa,
Sorry,
you know,
Jonathan Taylor owners.
yes, and that's some of what stood out for me. You know, uh, Brady got the win, but it wasn't fantasy good.
Wasn't
What
pretty at
good?
all.
It
Yeah.
wasn't pretty.
My
So
my Fournette Brady stacks weren't working out very well.
yeah. So those are some of the things that stood out for me. But I mean, there's a lot of football, so let's get it started.
Absolutely, man. It's week 2. We're here, man. We're gonna help you get stuff right. So without any further ado, man, let's get into these game breakdowns. We'll get into some of the injuries, some of the news as we go game by game. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll help you out. We are talking waiver wires tonight, so we have the waivers running. This is normally our Monday show, but we had to push it here to Tuesday. We will be back here tomorrow talking trades, roster management, kind of rest of season outlook. So tonight we're pretty much going to try to keep it to the game breakdowns week 2, and then just the upcoming waiver wires and guys.
Waiver wire guys.
We're looking to pick up, and then again we'll do our start sit on Friday, and of course the last minute Sunday show with Mike, classic Mike, Sunday morning, your actives and inactive there, and of course some
And
DFS
daily,
plays.
daily, yeah, daily
Yeah, he
fantasy.
almost hit big on a couple this last week.
Well,
So
trying to get paid.
make sure you're checking it out. So a bunch of people popping in. What's up, Neanderthal? He's here, and again, we got Squidward saying the Dolphins wide receiver core is legit. Waddle and Hill. So let's perfect
Yeah.
segue, man. Let's start
Well,
off there.
well,
Uh,
Stranded, he agreed with me. A lot of huge comebacks.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. It was
And and,
crazy.
and Kirk did help him get the win right there. Sorry,
Go
I'm
ahead, go
fighting
ahead.
on the comments. Go
Oh, so
ahead.
I messed up. Yeah, accidental click there.
Yeah, and Kirk helped him get the win this week. So hey, there you go. You're putting the right guys in at the right weeks. You
I
never
assume
know what
that's
could happen.
Christian Kirk, unless you were going against Kirk Cousins, and
Yeah,
then so he helped you win as well too. So pretty bad performance. Good old cousin Kirk's on a primetime game, kind of kind of choked after having a nice week one performance. So again, it's up, it's down, and we'll definitely get into that here. So, like we said, perfect segue over to the Miami Dolphins at Baltimore Ravens.
Ravens.
We had the Ravens favored by 3.5 in this one, with a 44.5 point over under. I think the Dolphins basically almost scored 44. They won 42-38. What a game to start off the morning with. Ravens jumped out on the Dolphins 28-0, or I think it was like 28-3 or 28-0, I believe, at one point. And Dolphins just make, an amazing comeback. Tyreek Hill and Waddle just go crazy. I think they're the first duo of receivers to score, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game. It was just incredible. Lamar Jackson has the longest run and longest pass play in the NFL right now this year. 79-yard run and a 75-yard pass to Rashad Bateman. So just a lot of stuff that was going on in this game. Obviously, still no J.K. Dobbins. But tell me kind of your thoughts. Some of these guys, especially on the Jets side, I'll kind of leave that to you. Tell me about guys like Wilson, Carter, Brees. What are we doing with the
You just
Jets side
switched
of the ball?
games. I thought we were talking
Oh,
Dolphins
I'm
and
sorry.
Ravens.
Yeah, no, you did.
You
I don't know
throw
why.
me-
I went to the Jets. All of a sudden, I started thinking about the Jets and
I was like, you
Browns
just threw
comeback.
me for a loop. I was like,
Yeah.
are we just
Well,
talking about the Ravens
no,
right now?
you're good. You're
Dolphins?
good. So
But
talk
yeah,
to
no, I
me.
mean,
Yeah, talk to me
Tyreek
about
Hill
these
and
guys
Jalen
here.
Waddle. I mean, Waddle doing the Waddle thing.
Oh man.
150 yards receiving for both. Like you're saying, all in 11 receptions, 2 scores, 60 plus yards each after the catch. That's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Tua's coming in, and I think he answered all the questions. It was all fourth quarter for them, just coming in and dropping dimes on these guys. I forgot what the air yards. I forgot the stat. There's a couple stats that I wanted to bring up, but I didn't get a chance to. But the air yards is what it was at, and they're just doing the thing. Again, like you're saying, J.K. Dobbins week to week, but the Ravens are the most pass heavy team in the NFL right now. So if you got somebody on the Ravens, it's still not a bad deal. Like you're saying, getting fantasy points. Obviously the running back situation is a no go, don't touch. I mean, not for, as far as I am concerned. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess with anybody till they get J.K. Dobbins back. But because you don't know who's getting the touches over there. I think they just signed somebody else the other day, um, and it's not a good situation until J.K. Dobbin gets back. So, hey, there's a lot of scoring going on. That's really it, really. I mean, it was just a
Yeah.
great comeback. You know what I mean? And the highlights is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Absolutely. And so, as far as waiver wire guys that you might be kind of looking at here, guys to note, take a look at Raheem Mostert. I'm sure he probably went undrafted. Maybe he already got dropped week one, last waivers. Keep an eye. Chase Edmonds was kind of projected on a nice, kind of projection after week one. But what we saw here after week two was definitely kind of more of a split backfield here. We saw Mostert run the most routes that he's ran in a game. I believe he had 2 receptions. I believe, where is he at? 3. So he went 3 for 3 for 28
Yeah.
yards. Only, yeah. So one of them was a 13-yarder. So he's definitely being worked, in the passing game, which is what he kind of really didn't do in San Francisco. So there's definitely, some potential here. You would think with all the pass attempts that they had in this game that Chase Edmonds would be more involved, playing from behind. That's what we thought he was, that third down kind of back, that role, not so much between a tackle guy. But considering, Tua threw the ball 50 times and, Edmonds only got, 1 catch for 8 yards and only 3 targets, that's a little concerning, at least to me. So, if Mostert's out there, maybe pick him up. Obviously he's free. If you have someone you can drop, like a Mike Davis on the other side of the ball, maybe swap him out for someone like Mostert. So he's one of the guys I like.
To your point, I have Raheem Mostert as my number one running back pickup of the week.
Oh, you like him a lot, huh? Oh, did I
Yeah.
burst your bubble? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like I would just throw that.
All
Hey,
right.
it doesn't matter when as we go, man. It doesn't matter. We got to
There it
talk about the
is.
guys when they come up, and that this is he's on these the Miami Dolphins is doing this thing. It's like a second resurgence for him, and I if you need somebody, that's somebody to look at as far as the running back. I think he's the top waiver wires running back this week.
Right. And that's not saying too much because there wasn't really too much on the running back side of things. but we'll kind of definitely go through that as we go through the teams here. As far as the receiving core goes, obviously Mark Andrews led it. Went back to getting his 11 targets, 9 catches for 104 and a touchdown. Bateman went for 108 and a touchdown again, another long one again, 75 yards. So that's a 55-yarder, 75-yarder. He's kind of like on that Jamar Chase projection, like Chase was doing last year. So definitely keep your eye on him. Devin Duvernay, kind of came back down to earth a little bit here. I only saw 2 targets in this one for 42 yards. No touchdowns there. And we did have a little Isaiah Likely sighting. He was able to get in there with 5 targets right behind Rashad Bateman. So again, if Andrews were to go down, I usually don't talk about handcuffs for tight ends. But Likely, of course, he kind of caught steam here. As the season kind of picked up and went through the preseason. But it looks like Lamar trusts him, and that it's definitely a position that's designed targets in that offense. So
I did want to
definitely keep
mention
an eye
real
on him.
quick, Devin Duvernay did get a touchdown in the return department though. He had a kick
Yeah,
return,
he did
100
have the
yards, and
kickoff return. Yeah,
yeah. I just
good
want to
call.
mention
Good
he
call.
did get a touchdown there. So hey,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how they come in. The touchdown's a touchdown.
Yeah, but you're not counting on 100.
Yeah,
plus
exactly.
yard,
I'm not saying that, but I
TD
mean, it's still.
returns. But
I mean,
yes,
if
he
you
did.
started him, he still did.
It
Decent for
salvaged
the
your
day.
week. Yeah, he
Yeah,
salvaged
exactly.
your week. Still had
Exactly.
12.2 fantasy points, so we'll take that. For a guy we got off waivers last week.
Yeah.
And you had a spot
And he
start.
had a spot start. Yeah, exactly.
So that's still not bad. So again, I think pretty much wraps up this game here. If there's anyone we missed, we apologize, but we'll move it on. Let's get to a question or two here in the chat, and then we'll get on to the next game. So stranded on second when Tony Clark came in here and said he has a trade question saying I would send off Carson Wentz and Brandon Cooks for Mixon. Should I make that offer, or is it stupid? I have Herbert at QB, and my receivers are Jefferson, Waddle, Kirk, Samuels, and Amari Cooper. So basically, Carson Wentz and Brandon Cooks for Mixon. Should you make the offer, or should he hold off?
As Anthony likes to say, and we were talking about it earlier, send the offer. But would they take it? I don't think they're going to take it. I wouldn't
Probably
take
not.
it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
but definitely
but
let
if
him know
you
you're
if you
interested.
if you want to start trade talks, it's a way to start trade talks.
Absolutely, and
Some
we
guys get
never know.
offended.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if this is the Dak owner and he's starting you know Matt Ryan, coming off a 0.25 point performance, and he has, good running backs, maybe he does something like that, or maybe offers you a different piece if you are kind of hurting or searching for a running back. So obviously make the offer, but again, as long as people don't get crazy offended in your league, I kind of usually set the tone early that usually my first offer is just a warning shot. So anyway, so good luck. Let us know. Keep us posted. If you have any other questions, drop them in here, and we'll get to them. Do you see any other ones?
But he's mentioning right now
Oh,
he
go ahead. Go
lost
ahead.
Lance.
Oh, he
So
lost Lance.
he lost Lance. So
Okay.
as I mentioned last week, since we're already going to jump right into that, I don't
Hmm.
know, should we hold up? But obviously, it's a big news of Lance going down, Trey Lance
Yeah,
going
let's
down, and
just do
Jimmy
it.
G stepping in. I mentioned last week or week before last, I said, I don't know if they have him or not, but they should handcuff him. And we were talking about the article that they came out with, um, where they mentioned, I'm not even sure if that was on there. It was more in our chat here in Sleeper, that they didn't sign Jimmy G as a backup and this, and that. And I said, that's exactly what they signed him for. They made sure that they had insurance because he knows the offense. He was there. He led them to the playoffs and damn near championships over here. And why wouldn't you want to keep the guy another year to either mentor your new guy or just be there for this kind of instance? The guy
Right.
goes out, breaks his ankle, leg, he's done for the season, and now you have a guy that could step right in, and you're not even skipping the beat. To me, it seemed like the team rejuvenated itself around Jimmy G. I mean, the guys were high fiving, they were pumped up. It was like,
Just slapping him on the head. He couldn't even get
yeah,
his chin strap on. That was pretty funny.
exactly. Because I
Just
was watching
messing with
that,
him.
I it was forced to watch the game, but whatever.
Hey,
So
it's not a bad watch.
no, it wasn't too bad, but it was back to business, right, for the 49ers, and they did, that's why they did sign him. They didn't sign him just to be like, oh, we just get, whatever. I don't know. Jimmy G's going to get paid now. I understand that there were some performance things in
Incentives,
his
yeah.
incentives in his contract. Not that it matters a lot, but I mean, the guy's going to get some
Hey,
serious
money's
money,
money.
and hopefully he has a good season and could be traded off in the future, or maybe they want to keep him and trade Trey Lance. But I don't think anybody's going to take trade. I'm not sure what's going on
Yeah,
that
we'll
part.
see. It definitely made the drama, extend a little bit longer. So, like Fantasy Fish is saying, he said the team was pumped to avoid that
But that
mess.
mess, yeah,
So we'll see, man. At least it's not kind of lingering. It did happen early, so there was no drama like, oh, do we, didn't split the locker room or anything like that. At
yeah.
least it kind of just happened now. He went out, via injury, so it
Instead
wasn't
of
like based
performance
on
wise, right?
performance. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's still this big unknown and mystique. Can he still be this guy? Because he does have a cannon for an arm, and we did get to see that in the preseason. It sucks we lost him so early in that game in an actual okay weather game, at least to
and the
start
other
off.
thing that
So
sucks, but is a good thing, is that you already know he's done for the year. So it's like he's going to come back a couple
right,
weeks later, and then like, do you use him
it's
back
not like a
in, or
Dak situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
or do you stay with Jimmy G that's been doing good for you, or maybe not? Who knows? But I mean, obviously it's just one game. But what if Jimmy G has a good winning record, and do you bring Trey back in after that? At least that's all out of the way. Like literally, you know
right,
what I mean? Like it helps the whole team just stay there, yeah, and that said, it is super unfortunate, yeah. That's
yeah.
terrible. I mean, Anthony sent a pic of the thing, and I was like, "That was
It's
rough," but I
brutal,
was
man.
like, "Ooh."
Brutal. And you guys
Baseball,
just went through that with Dak, man,
yeah,
just a few years ago. So,
yeah,
so there it is. So just to officially segue into the game, we had the Seattle Seahawks 7 and my Niners 27. So we had them. We were favored by 9. So we covered the 9-point spread with the 40.5 point over under. Didn't quite make that. But still was an okay game. Was glad we got the win. Obviously, like we said, that's the big news. I think on one QB leagues, like maybe if you're again hurting with, Dak and you're kind of streaming something, Jimmy G's never really been a fantasy type quarterback. He'll get you like, 15 to 18 kind of points in a 6 point, per passing league. He's usually sometimes a good game for him is like 200 yards, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns. Maybe he gets a rushing touchdown like he did this
he's a
week.
game manager.
Yeah, and so, if you need him for a bye week or something like that, yeah, you can throw him in there. But, overall, I think he definitely has more value on a super flex. If you're in a, buying there in a super flex league and there's no quarterbacks out there, I'm sure you're probably spending a good chunk of your fab right now. And maybe he's a good trade piece as well in a super flex or 2 QB league to, get him and then, kind of trade him off just, again, because you can. So again, just depending on what kind of strategy you're going for there, that's what I see. Obviously, another big news in this game here. I don't know what's in the water just here in San Francisco, but another running back goes down. So Tyrion Davis Price, high ankle sprain, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So now I think it's Jason Mason or something crazy like that. I don't even know where we're at, like on RB5 on the depth chart. But I think
Yeah,
that just makes
and they just
Jeff
pulled
Wilson
up they just
skyrocket.
pulled up Marlon Mack for the practice squad and signed him.
Perfect, and that's what I was just gonna
So
say. So
yeah,
they did sign him today to kind of sure that up. So we'll see if he kind of comes in as the 2 or 3. Obviously, he's more of a veteran, has played before. Maybe the Niners trust him to spell Wilson earlier until this other kid gets a little more experience, a little more practice, knowing now he's gonna potentially have a role. Let alone if Wilson or somebody else goes down. So we're definitely getting thin. It's crazy, bringing in Marlon Mack, who, couldn't even beat out the rookie Damian Pierce, who hasn't even showed that well. So, um, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. We keep chugging, got the W. I'm happy about that. On the Seahawks side of the ball, had a little bit of a Tyler Lockett sighting, I believe. DK Metcalf, still seems to be, kind of startable if you really need him. Wide receiver 3, flex down there. Other
he get
than
his
that,
touchdown, right?
did he? I don't have those scores up right now. I can't remember
He
who
didn't get
scored
one
the
receiving.
touchdown.
I seen him get one receiving.
Yeah,
6 and
it's
4 for
because we jumped
35
we
yesterday.
jumped
Yeah,
out of order here.
yeah, it's okay.
Uh, so where are we at? What did you say? Did you get it?
He didn't have one receiving, no.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he just went 4 for 35. And yeah, Lockett had 9 catches, 11 targets, 107 yards. So he had a nice game. And, other than that, Travis Homer, since they were behind, had 4 for 4 for 33 yards in deeper leagues. Ken Walker, if he's out there, potentially grab him. He had 4 carries to Rashad Penny's 6 carries. Just pretty much a non-existent running game. This is what we were kind of worried about Penny, in the beginning of the year. So again,
Yeah, well, I
maybe
think
take
it had a lot
Walker.
to do with the 49ers defense. They had 7 total pressures, 4 hurries, 2 sacks, and a quarterback hit, all highlighted by, the phenom, Nick Bosa, right? So I think it had a
If that
lot to
he
do
is.
with that, bad outing, but I think it also shows the weakness there on their offensive line and everything else, because I think other people are going to, continue to do that to the Seahawks, and they're going to struggle throughout the year. So but Geno did
Absolutely.
did have a good game last week. Let's see if they bounce back after this one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It shows a lot for the team if they ever could, get over that loss and still, just kind of move forward and say, okay, lick your wins and go on.
Mhm. Absolutely, and again, if Jeff Wilson is out there, make sure you grab him. He got 18 carries. Ty Davis Price got 14. So again, Marlon Mack might be someone you can pick up as well for a little bit cheaper. Again, to get those yards. He didn't really do much with it, 33 yards on 14 carries, but the thing was they got the work. 2 running backs getting, over 15 touches.
Yeah, it's getting the
Um,
touches is important.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's huge. So whoever it is, we know as they say, those Niner running backs are kind of just plug and play. You just got to hope they actually make it through a game
yeah,
or
yeah.
or two. so
That's that's the problem.
um,
Even Jeff Wilson Jr. Was there last year, and he went down, and somebody else had to come in, and
yep,
yeah. So
it was
hopefully,
it was all crazy, man.
hopefully they
Uh,
tape them up good and keep them together, right?
exactly. All right, so let's get
Want to
back.
get back in order to the Jets and Browns?
Yeah, so let's get to it here. Let's All right. So Jets and Browns. Here we go.
Yeah.
So Jets 31, Browns 30. We had the Browns favored by 6.5, 39.5 point over under. Went well over that. Amazing game. I mean, this game was just crazy back and forth. Jets rally late to just make this crazy comeback win. I'll let you kind of take it away since I tried to set you up in the first
No,
part
well,
when
Joe
I got the
Flacco
mix up. But yeah,
was
tell me
was
about
the
the Jets
man in
side of
this
this
game in
ball.
the fourth quarter. Actually, the last 2 minutes, it like sparked him up alive or whatever was going on with this guy. 26 of 44, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, the longest 66. And it has a lot to do with Garrett Wilson. I have him on my team already, but he's definitely a good waiver wire pickup, which goes to that. Garrett Wilson went for 8 for 102 and 2 touchdowns. So if you don't have him, and if he's available in your league, definitely go after that guy. Um, and it was just an incredible game. I mean, what do you want? What can you say? Jacoby Brissett went 22 of 27, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. He's still not doing too bad. I mean, I guess for being a fill-in guy, I'm not even sure what to call him at this point. You know what I mean? Because when uh, uh,
Wilson.
Deshaun shows up, he's this guy's losing his job.
Oh,
So
on
it's
the Brissett side, my bad.
yeah, on the Brissett side, so it's just sad that he's doing his thing, but it is what it is. Nick Chubb still chugging along. He's 17 carries, 87 yards, 5.1 yard average with 3 touchdowns.
RB1
Uh,
of the week.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can't go wrong with him. Kareem Hunt, who his counterpart, didn't do as well this week. 13 for 58. Still had a good, double digit touches, but just didn't get enough yardage or a touchdown this week. So it was a little bit of letdown, at least for me, because I have him as a backup here, running back till I get some other guys working. But yeah, Garrett Wilson, I think, is the guy that stole the show. Corey Davis is still doing well over there. So if you guys could, get some of him, or even Brees Hall. I think that's a long stretch for him uh, as far as the receiving, but he is doing the running over there this week. It kind of changed from last week, because last week
Yeah,
we
10
had,
targets. Yeah.
yeah, last week we had his other counterpart, Michael Carter, running the show. Now this week was Brees Hall in the running the show part of it over there. So it seems like they changed the guard real quick over there. It took only 1 week for Brees Hall to be the next guy up, and I think he's going to be the starter going forward. And you're just going to have kind of like the same situation that they have over there with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And so in this case, it'll be Brees Hall and
And like
Michael
Melvin
Carter.
Gordon and Javonte Williams, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have like
Swift and Williams, right? Just your typical split backfield, right? I
yeah,
mean, this
where
is
you
what
have
it
like
is
an
for them.
RB2 that's kind of just dragging along. He might do good for 1 week, and
Mhm.
May not do good the next week. Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows what he'll
Right.
give you? What kind of that's why they're
It's
RB2s
did you
anyways.
do you score the touchdown or not? That's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're gonna give you or not, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, that's recaps that game pretty well. It was a really good comeback. Kudos to the Jets for getting that win, and Flacco for just literally looking like Flacco of old, really.
Yeah.
I think because
Yeah. He
he
has those
hasn't been doing that in
showings
a
every
while.
once in a
Yeah,
while, yeah.
every so often he gets one fired up and says, "Let's do this."
Exactly. Yeah. So that's good. So again, these guys, I'm sure Wilson's not really on too many wires. He was drafted. If he was dropped, definitely pick him up. I don't think we're worrying too much still about Elijah Moore, even though he kind of played second fiddle to Wilson. And then, Corey Davis did just have the two catches, one of them being a 66-yard touchdown, where they just kind of, blew the coverage there, which, you know, basically got them back in that game.
Yeah,
We'll see. A lot of different, receivers that, did touch the ball there. So it is being spread around. But what we know is, again, another 44 attempts. I think they had 50 something last week. They're going to be throwing the ball because the defense isn't that great. And, so there's just going to be a lot of points to be had. It's just, can they score them or not? And Brown's defense kind of let a lot of people down, I think, but made for some good football. All
right.
right. So what's up, Martin? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you for stopping by, brother. Shout out to the Dynasty Pylon and the Dynasty Pylon Guillotine League. My first Guillotine League I'm playing. For those who don't know, I'll put him on blast. Dustin went out first in that league, so we had to give him a lot of flack for that. So it's been a lot of fun. We had our second victim fall out this week. And it's still going along.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor is going to be on the wire this week. The number one pick
Oh
lost in
wow.
week 2. Yeah. So he had Trey Lance and Jonathan Taylor. JT didn't really do
Oh, that
much. We'll get
combo.
into that here.
Ooh.
And a couple other things didn't shake right. And he's last in the league. So shout out to the Dynasty Pile and Guillotine League, man. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't been in a Guillotine League, man, go get in one. It's too much fun. So
Yeah.
all right.
Want to read
So
these guys off? We got
yeah,
Justin H over here.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the one I was getting to.
Go
Go right
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, I don't want to lose him. What's up, Justin? He said pick 2. Perfect segue too, because we just talked about Wilson, and we're gonna get right
Johan
into
Dodson.
Johan Dodson right now and Curtis Samuel with this
Mhm.
Washington game. So we have Garrett Wilson, Johan Dodson, and Curtis Samuel. Pick 2 to roster. So this isn't just who to start.
Okay, Garrett Wilson and Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, it sucks because I think you got to do Wilson for sure. I do like both of these guys, so I kind of want to have one of them. I still don't know which one I want to have now. I'm kind of leaning maybe a little more towards Dotson, like just because of the unknown. Like we know who Curtis Samuel is, and we also know he has that injury risk. So just when you start feeling comfortable, he might pull that groin or a
It might.
calf or a hammy or something again, and just
Don't say that. You're just
on and
throwing
off
that
the wire.
juju out there in the
Hey,
world again.
it's the Ross the Reaper, man. That's what I do. But so these things stay in the back
Gotta
of your
keep that
head.
out of the ether, bro.
This is what I'm here for. I got to remind people this happens. The Reaper is lurking. So yeah, man. But I don't know, man. I think I'm leaning just Dotson. Samuel's definitely out producing him now, but just some of the plays that I see Dotson making are just kind of incredible. We're gonna get into the game right here and get into stats and stuff like that. But for me, I think I take my chances with Dotson and Wilson, the 2 rookies. What are you thinking?
I was going to. I was, Curtis Samuel
You're
and
saying
Wilson.
Samuel? Okay.
Um, I really like Johan Dotson. This is very, very hard. Because some of these guys are still, Garrett Wilson, Johan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. All 3 may be on your waiver wire even still.
Uh,
Um, you know what I mean? Like it depending on how deep your leagues are and yada 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 and what's going on with the teams. I know that in one of my leagues I have Garrett Wilson. Other league he's still available. Johan Dotson got picked up last week. You know what I mean? So it's like Curtis Samuel was out there. I've seen his numbers out there too. So um, I don't know. I just like Curtis Samuel, the situation he's in, and Garrett Wilson is on fire. I just want to take that. I do like Johan. You can't go wrong with any of those guys. No matter which way you're going to go, I don't think it's going to be a bad decision. I think that only injury, uh, will be the deciding factor. And like Anthony saying,
Mhm.
maybe Curtis Samuel, maybe the guy that pulls up a hammy or something happens. Um,
I mean, I'm not wishing that, but still.
no, yeah, I mean, but things happen. I mean, anything can happen to any one of these guys, But they are wide receivers, so they're a little less prone to injury than running backs that are, you know, as long as they're not on San Francisco and they're not going to fall down and get hurt.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. All right. What's up, Josh? Welcome here into the stream tonight, man. How's it going, brother? It's in week 2 in the books. How are we feeling about the listener league we're in so far? So shout out to Josh for getting the Get Right Fantasy Listener League. It is a super flex 12-team league. Make sure you join us next off season for our Friday night mocks, doing our mock draft tournaments. That's how we recruit and find the people to get into these listener leagues that we have. So we'll get into that, man, later in the show. So stay tuned with us. Or if you do have to go, check out the last part of the show. We'll bring up the league, see kind of how everyone's doing real quick, and give a little shout out and throw a little shade at some people down there at the bottom as well too. So we'll have some fun. But appreciate you, Josh. I'm 0-2, just to throw it out there right now. So, but I feel like I'm the best 0-2. I'm like a hard, stiff 0-2, like not like a floppy, don't know what I'm doing 0-2. Like I feel like I just ran into some bad stuff, if you know what I mean.
I'm
So
1-1, so
you're doing all right.
some
I see what you
injuries
got going
happen,
there.
things happen. Connor goes out in the middle of the game. I'm not sure what's going on with Connor. We're gonna
We'll
get to
get to
that
that.
into the
We'll get to
injuries
that.
later on, but yeah, don't get me started.
Definitely.
1-1 is fine with me. Hey, it's early.
Absolutely.
It's
So
early.
let's start here, man. Let's get to it. We have the Washington Commanders versus I'm still not going to get used to saying that, the Detroit Lions. We had the Lions actually favored by one
You're
and
not
a
gonna get used
half.
to saying Detroit Lions or the Washington Commander part.
No, Washington Commanders.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
could say Detroit Lions.
Oh, okay.
They were favored by 1.5.
I
I think it
still
was
like
one
the
of the
football team. I was getting
yeah,
stuck with that. You
I
know what
was
I mean?
actually kind of good. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
I was kind of liking it
It
now.
was
It took us
terrible.
two,
No,
3 years.
it was
How many
terrible.
seasons did they do
It was just like
the football
2.
team?
Yeah, it
Two?
was like 2. Yeah.
That was one too many, too long. How long does it take to pick a team name? Come on.
It was. They had to go through a lot of stuff, trademarks and build stuff and get shirts and stuff going. Anyway, all right. So we had the Lions favored by 1.5. One of the first times they have been favored in a game in like 2 years or something like that, or longer. And it was a 48.5 point over under. Lions looking good, man. They pull it off 36-27 over the Commanders. As stranded on second with Tony Clark is saying here, Wentz had another solid numbers game. He did. He's up there, I think, in the top 3 of the passing leaders so far, along with Tua and Joe Flacco, if I'm not mistaken. I think are the top 3 passing leaders in the NFL right now, which is kind of crazy.
Right?
Um, but just say it's just how things roll, man. Um, and so let's see. So what do you think about this game, man? I mean, to me, the biggest story in this game is Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Yes,
some
thank you.
ASB going crazy. I had my reservations coming in. I wasn't really feeling him. Kind of kind of dock some people that were drafting him in the Friday mocks. So again, I'm here to say I apologize for all those people. I'll probably have to bump your grade up. At least a half
I
a
wasn't
grade or a
docking him.
couple of points. Frank wasn't, so he was giving you that Amon-Ra love.
He was one of my last year's late pickups to
Full
help me win
disclosure,
championship right there.
full disclosure, I did trade Darren Waller for him in a dynasty league.
Oh,
So
nice. Oh,
so I did make
that's
that
solid.
trade earlier in the year. So that was a good trade, I felt like. I still have I think Ertz and somebody else, so I figured I was good, for a little while. And yeah, it was he's definitely getting the target share and just kind of blowing things up over there. So he finishes as the overall fantasy player number 4, 39.4 points in a PPR league. He did have what was it, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns.
116
And
and 2 touchdowns, 9
yep.
catches. His 6 straight games with a touchdown for Amon-Ra St. Brown, tying the team record. And
Mhm.
this is a team that featured a Hall of Famer, Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Right.
So
And I
this dude's doing Megatron things. Keep an eye on him. Get
right.
him, draft him, put him in your dynasty league, like Anthony just traded for. And hold
Well, I
on to
did
the
this at the beginning of the year. Just
yeah. I mean, you got
I
to get
did
it
this
done though.
in the off season still, but yeah,
Well,
but
he's
I got it
talking to
done.
other guys for
I
drafting
bought
him,
him
but he's
low. Yeah, I
but
bought
he's
him low. It
trading
was
for
good.
him. So,
Right.
which is
Doesn't
awesome.
mean yeah, I mean, sometimes you still gotta there's still sometimes you just gotta take the name off the jersey
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
look at the stats
Look at the
sometimes.
stats, exactly. So he came out with a 42.4 whopping fantasy points out there. So
Mhm.
that dude's
And the
doing things
greatest
for you.
part, he had the 2 carries for 68 yards, a 58-yard rush, so,
Yeah,
he's just, all over. He's like a Debo Light, I guess, now all of a sudden.
right?
Um,
Exactly. Debo Light,
crazy,
dude. I like that.
crazy.
But
Um,
yeah, DeAndre Swift still doing all right. 5 for 56, 112 on the rushing side, and even got a couple passes there. 5 for 2, 31, and a touchdown. So he's doing his thing. Um, the Josh Reynolds also got a sighting, 3 for 3, 38 yards, and a touchdown as well for him. So um, the Lions are doing all right this year. And the Commanders, and we were just highlighting Curtis Samuel, another guy there that we were just talking about, and he got one rushing, 1 for 21 for the rushing, but most of his came in receiving. As a 9 targets, 77, 78 yards, and a
led the
touchdown
team
there.
with 9
Yeah.
targets.
Yeah, exactly. Led the team. So that's why I was like liking Curtis Samuel a lot. Johan Dotson, on the other hand, had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 59, and a touchdown as well hit for him. But who are you going to go with? Right there, you're talking
Mhm.
Curtis Samuel, Johan Dotson. It was in the question.
Yep,
Um, Another guy that I was looking at is Logan Thomas, 5 for 3, 37, and one
just about to bring
TD.
him up.
If you need a tight end, he's on my tight end waiver wire guy. In case you need him, he's not highly ranked. Owned right now, and so he's another guy to look at there. Scary Terry's the one that's taking the hits though. He's eight
I mean,
for
4 for
84.
75 is
Yeah,
respectable.
yeah. So yeah, he didn't get a touchdown. I guess that's what's hurting him. So what are you gonna do? You
Right,
can't get a touchdown every game. So
every game, yeah. Unless you're LT or something, but it's it's different. He was built different.
right,
Saddest news I think in this game is kind of segue into a waiver wire pick is Antonio Gibson. Man, he gets 14 carries for only 28 yards. That's only a 2 yard yards per carry. Only a long of 8. You know, was targeted 4 times in the passing game, but just 2 for 13. Um, kind of I don't want to say like an afterthought. I mean, he definitely dominated the carries, but not really doing much with it. Maybe this is, kind of what they were seeing. Obviously, they see him in practice all the time. And so that leads me to Brian Robinson, man. If he's out there, we've seen the videos. He's already back out practicing, not like in pads or anything, but he's doing, drills off to the side, actually doing ladder drills and, at a full speed, like not like sprint, but just doing full speed drills.
yeah,
Which to me, was, he's only a few weeks removed after, being shot through the knee, and going through all that meat and everything. I mean, that stuff has to heal and, get blood to it. So I don't know how he's even able to do
he
that.
got lucky as
It
all
must be
get out,
like,
man.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how that even I mean, you got your femoral artery in there. I mean, it didn't touch any of his bone. I mean, those were fracture your bones. I mean, you're talking, he could have had a fracture to his femur and who knows what happens after,
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Then you're
So
done
the
for.
fact that he's there, man, is just by the grace of, whatever you believe in, I guess you would say, just to stay a little PC here. It's just incredible to see what he's been able to overcome, and good for him, just to be alive in that type of situation, and let alone, talking about being able to come back and play in an NFL game, 4 weeks after the fact. So just keep in mind, get him on your bench now, beat the waiver wire with this guy. I think they give him
Yeah.
a shot when he
Beat him
comes back.
before because you could still put him in IR right now,
Yeah,
like
especially
Anthony
if you
did.
can put him in IR, just like Anthony did. Just like
He
Anthony
is
did.
my number 2 guy for the waiver wire pickups this week.
There it
So
is. All right, so you're
get
on
him
it
early.
too, huh?
Get him early while you can.
Yeah, see, that's why we have to play chess while everyone else is playing checkers, guys. Gotta
You
gotta
gotta
do
be
it.
careful with these guys here.
Gotta do it, man. So yeah, so other than that, again, Dotson, Samuel, if these guys are out there, they're definitely worth a bench spot. I think they're worth, taking over guys you know, like Sky Moore, MVS. These are guys that were drafted that I feel like you could probably drop now. Not showing too much consistency. They may boom, but when you're ever going to feel comfortable, putting them in your lineup, maybe Sky Moore becomes a waiver pickup later in the year. But as of now, these guys are producing. So, get them on there now. And of course, me, I love getting guys on here and, trade them right away. So
Yeah.
if I can
Get them
pick
while
up
they're
some
hot,
waiver guys
sell
and
high.
trade them off
Yeah.
for an underperforming star, go do it. To me, that's the name of the game. Buy
You
low,
gotta
sell
give
high.
credit to Anthony. Somebody sent him a crazy trade, and all he like he said, he just
I
hit the
just
accept button.
accepted. Yeah.
So we can't
told
blame
him
a
I
guy
was
for doing that.
I told him I was interested. He sent me the offer. I'm not going to turn it down. So, so there it is, man. So
That's
anything
his
else here
story, and
with
he's
this?
sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. I sent you the screenshots. Commanders, Lions, anyone else in this game that we're looking at here? I mean, Jamal Williams with bye weeks coming up, you might be able to grab him. He's kind of touchdown or bust, but he's definitely getting work. 12 carries, 53 yards. So again, someone to keep an eye on. And other than that, we pretty much talked about the other guys. Logan Thomas seems healthy again too. So again, for your streaming tight end guys, he's a guy you can throw in your lineups. Hawkinson did have 7 targets, right behind St. Brown on the other side, only 3 for 26. So, basically Swift and Brown, are this offense right now. So
Exactly.
I think that should do it.
Yep.
Yep. And got to start kind of moving a little bit here, get all caught up when we start talking football, man. I just love talking
Yeah.
football. All right. So what do we got here in the chat? What's up,
was
Don Julio? He said just traded AJ Brown. Ooh, this better be good. You scare me when you say something like that. So I just traded AJ Brown and Kittle for Eckler and DJ Moore, half point PPR. His backup tight end is Pat Fairmouth. I like it. I don't mind this trade at all. I think you bought, DJ Moore low, which is, what I would suggest. We usually talk trades more tomorrow night on Wednesday with our roster management show. Make sure you tune in. But since you're here asking the question now, Don, we're gonna say if we had to grade the trade, I'd give it a solid B plus, A minus borderline. I like the Eckler pickup. That's good with DJ Moore. That's nice.
that's a trade I would do.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
And I don't do trades, but very many trades. So there you go.
Yeah. So Frank says it's good. He likes it.
It's good.
There it is. All right, we got a V27K. If you're in sleeper with us, let us know what your sleeper handle is. I don't know if I've seen your thing here, but again, we appreciate if you're that you subscribed, or if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. But he says, hey guys,
And the like
what
button.
are we
We need some
yeah,
likes.
and that like button. What are we feeling about Eckler and Diggs for Jonathan Taylor, Waddle, and Deontay? I'd be getting Waddle side and not sure what to do. Man, that is tough, man. That is a good offer right there. I think dude, this is like my kind of trade. Like, if we're
So
gonna
this is
trade,
what they're
like,
doing.
let's
They're
trade some
preying on you
stars.
right now, thinking JT's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. You drafted him number 1, and are you like, are you loose on him?
No. He would be getting the Jonathan Taylor side.
Yeah. So he's going for it. Okay.
Yeah. So how are we feeling about Eckler and Diggs for Jonathan Taylor, Waddle, and Deontay? I'd be getting the Waddle side. So right now he has Eckler and Diggs, who Diggs was just the number 1 fantasy player.
He's trying to get
Overall
JT and
this week,
Waddle.
3 touchdown game, and you're trading him for a guy who just went for 2 touchdowns, the number 1 overall pick, who I think is still pretty much probably projected as the number 1 overall pick next year at this point. I don't think you'd really go away from him, even on his kind of a down game. With Waddle, you're kind of, getting hot. To me, it's not the Waddle and the Deontay, like those make it doable because you're giving up Eckler and Diggs and you're getting another position advantage. These guys are all starters. So I would assume this upgrades your, wide receivers maybe overall. I would like to know who
Me
your
definitely,
QB2 is.
or I could be try
Like,
getting Amon Ra St. Brown instead.
oh, if you can get
That guy's
Amon
stacked, dude.
Ra,
'Cause what? How many team? What is it? A 10-team league?
probably 10.
Because I was like, how are you gonna get Waddle and Amon Ra and all these guys? JT. It's like, what's going on in
It's
this
a good
league?
team. Yeah, I like that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dude, that's tough. Let us know in the chat, man. Which way are you guys feeling on this one? Eckler and Diggs for JT, Waddle, and Deontay.
I think it's
I might
early.
have to
I
phone a
think it's too
friend,
early
man.
to trade off JT. Should number 1 pick.
No, he's not trade. He would be getting JT. That's what I'm saying. You're
I'm just
getting
saying.
JT.
I'm saying either way. I'm saying either way of trading him
But that's
off
why
is
you'd
not
want
a
to
good
get
idea.
it, right? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So
So if you're the
getting
guy
him,
getting him, get it while getting's good. Because that's
like,
the only time you're ever going to get it. Because as soon as JT has another good game, that's it, done.
it's gonna be a
Trades are
smash
off the
accept.
table. You're not even.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so lopsided. You're never gonna get him. So
I mean, he's selling high on Diggs off a 3 touchdown
because
game.
he
If
was
you
the
don't think that's
1-1
gonna
man. He's
happen
the
again,
1-1. How how hard it is to get the 1-1?
yeah, dude, that's tough. It's such a downgrade between Diggs and Waddle or Deontay to me, though. But if you have OK's core there, I think we do that. Come back to us tomorrow too. We'll get Classic Mike and Dustin's opinion. I think all four of us might be on tomorrow.
Yeah. See
So
what
we'll
happens.
definitely let you know. Let me sleep on this one, V27K, and because that's a good one, man. That really is. I'd say go get JT though, man. Like, just go get him.
Hey, look, he's just
I'd
worried
say
about Eckler a little. He's getting a little less red zone snaps.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's a sticky situation.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yes.
would just go get him because, yeah, I would go get him. Like those wide receivers, they're not as sexy as Diggs, but they're producers. So go get them.
Yeah,
Yeah, go get them.
they're producing.
All
So
right,
what
what's
up,
up,
homies?
AJ? What up? What up? What up? Fantasy Frontline in the house. We got AJ here. Make sure you go check them out. Check out the podcast there on the Variety Sports Network. So go check them out. Friend of the show. What up, AJ? We got Sebastian. What's up, man? Good to see you again.
Yeah.
He says in full PP. We're gonna get to a little live Q&A here for a little bit, and we'll get back into our games.
Yeah, exactly. We forget the games now.
I love it, man. We're here for the people, man. It's the show by the people for
Honestly,
the people.
at the end of the day, it's for you guys. Yeah.
You can go back and watch this, man. The people that are here joining us live, we want to interact with you. Of course, we love all the people who can unfortunately catch us live. Leave those questions and comments in the comment section or hit us up on Sleeper. Get in the description, find our ats. But yeah, in the meantime, let's get to the question. Sebastian saying in full PPR redraft, should I trade Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, and James Robinson for Cook, Debo, and Antonio Gibson? So when we get a trade question, since this isn't necessarily the trade show, we'll just kind of give her a quick answer and then we'll leave you hanging and say, come join us tomorrow and we'll go more in depth. So how about that for sake of time? So Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, who is hurt, and James Robinson, who's playing out of his mind after an Achilles tear, for Cook, who's not quite playing that well right now, but we know he's been a producer. Debo, who's getting Jimmy G back, and then you get Antonio Gibson.
I would say no.
I would.
I would not take.
I would take the
Chase.
Chase. Yeah, I'm taking the Chase, Allen, and Robinson side for sure.
Yeah.
Try to set it up, but yeah, it's just a quick no-brainer on that one. That one's easy. You have to drop someone who is that fantasy fish. Okay, so they're going on. All right, so we're good. All right, you let me know. Oh wait, AJ saying we actually aren't with Vid. Tim and I are now on our own. Well, hey, congratulations, man, to you guys. If you are looking for another network, though, AJ, Get Right Fantasy Network, we're looking for content providers. Speaking of which, we do have our affiliates. Make sure you check out who's going to be streaming tomorrow night, right before our show at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be the Checkdown Podcast. They'll be here, our friend of the show, Mr. Cody McGoats. And then also make sure you check out WAGMI, WAGMI. We're all going to make it fantasy.com. And check out Colin's articles, man. He has great articles, does awesome projections. Just a great mind when it comes to fantasy football. Check out his site, sign up for that newsletter, and just get a lot of information there. Of course, we'll have links to, of course, his website on our website soon. But again, part of the Get Right family. So, AJ, let me know, man. Maybe we could talk. Me and Tim, we'll set up a meeting and we'll see how we go. All right, man. So
look at this trade though.
We got another one. All right. What did he say?
I traded for Waddle and James Robinson. I was happy those weeks, and I hope Waddle keeps it up. Yeah, I think if you got Waddle and James Robinson, you did very well in that whole Connor situation.
Very nice. And he just got hurt. Yeah, that was really good.
He just got hurt. So it's like, that's one of those ideal trades where it's like you trade away the guy immediately gets hurt. Now you don't even feel bad about it.
Yeah,
now you're like, that
was close.
Just gave that out, right?
I know. Now I'm wishing I would have took that Najee.
Becoming a full-on trade show. Trade shows or what?
Hey, trades are what's up though. I'll talk trades any day.
Yeah, I know.
Should I trade? Yeah, I'm like, this is my stuff. Like, forget the breakdowns. We all saw the football. Should I trade Dalvin Cook? We all watch the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're cracking them real fast though.
Yeah, we'll break this off into a trade show real quick. Should I trade Dalvin Cook and CeeDee Lamb for AJ Brown, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton, and Chris Olave? I see a period in there. I don't know if there's and CeeDee Lamb for AJ Brown.
CeeDee Lamb was hurt.
For AJ Brown, Dobbins, Sutton, and Olave. If this is a full PPR league, and if you have depth behind Cook, like if you happen to go like double hero RB and you can afford giving up Cook, I might honestly consider this trade. It's definitely a come up, your increase, I mean, AJ Brown and Sutton and Olave is great for CD
Olave's coming
Lamb,
up. He had some
and
numbers
Dobbins will be back.
that I wanted
And
to talk about next. So
yeah, perfect segue, right?
right, yeah, we're gonna segue into that.
So to me, dude, I might I'm a fan of trades. Like if I can get a trade done and it just mixes things up and I get players that I like, then I'm all for it. So I would maybe do this trade. Am I crazy for thinking that? But I would take
I
this,
would do it.
especially if it's PPR. As long as you can get by until Dobbins comes back, I think he'd be fine. So there it is, man. Caden, if you haven't already, man, hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the like when you're done, and come check us out, man. Tomorrow we're gonna actually do a full trade show and roster management, talking about rest of season outlook and things like that.
Yeah,
Tonight's just supposed to be kind of our waiver wire show and kind of just recapping our thoughts from last week's games. But
yeah.
like we said, man, we're always going to
Absorbing
take
what
your
we had last
questions. Yeah. We got A Rock in the house. What's up, man? Trade on Monroe St. Brown for Kamara and Higgins. Worth it if it's straight up for Kamara. So I mean if you're deep, like based on where you drafted on Monra, if you have wide receiver depth there to be able to give him up, I think the step down, I guess you would even say if it's a step down from Monra to Higgins, just based on kind of their recent performance. But Higgins still produced this week. He didn't produce last week because of the concussion. But you saw him bounce right back, scored a touchdown here in this game. It was a
Mhm.
pretty garbage game from the Bengals. So I still like Higgins. And you're getting Kamara out of it, who I've been big on Kamara since the beginning of the year. So again, for me, I would do it. I would love to try to get both. I think it's a little less close. I'd probably just stick with Amon-Ra instead of Kamara. Just again, for the reason being, especially if it's PPR, we had the top four scorers were actually all wide receivers in PPR, minus the quarterbacks
Yeah.
this week. So, they just have such a higher ceiling. So,
I'm
um,
just literally worried about Cincinnati in general, though.
yeah, and we'll definitely get to that when we get to that game.
Yeah.
I got to step out for just a second. Are you cool to take over and I'll be right back?
Yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah, go ahead, dude.
for sure.
So, I mean, this next game is not too exciting, not too much to talk about
Yeah.
because it was the Jaguars 24, Colts 0. The Colts were favored 3.5. The over under was 45, so they didn't get the 45, and the Colts literally took the L. They took a 0. Christian Kirk caught all 6 of his targets for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's nice to hear about Christian Kirk. I think he was a waiver wire pickup last week. I think that the standout thing that we need to talk about, and I wanted to bring it up here with Anthony when he gets back here, is James Robinson and Travis Etienne. Etienne was being drafted much higher. I'm thinking about third, fourth round for Etienne, and maybe even a fifth on some of the other round drafters. But James Robinson was way late. I got in on James Robinson, and he's just producing incredible numbers. 23 carries for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. Get you 15.8 solid fantasy points. Whereas Travis Etienne, he's getting 9 touches for 20 yards and 2.2 yard average. He's just non-existent basically, as far as I'm concerned. You're just spelling him a little bit. So I think that's the big elephant in the room. Is that going to continue? And I don't see why not. I think that James Robinson, when he had the opportunity that first game, he took and ran with it literally, and now he's just running away with the game. Because I mean, obviously, it's really his first year as well. I mean, you're looking at both of these guys being rookies because James Robinson got hurt so early in the beginning of the season. So I don't know. I think that personally, he's going to be the guy. We also have Nayeen Hines on the cold side that I know that a lot of people were picking up and whatnot, but he had 5 targets on the reception side for 4 catches, 37 yards, and the rushing's just not there. It's that just 1 carry, 0 yards. So I know people were looking at Naeem Hines. JT is the one getting 9 for 54, still not 6 yard average, but no touchdowns. It's just a terrible game for the Colts. I'm not sure it was the Jaguars defense or why they couldn't put things together. But I mean, to put up 0, like literally 0, that's hopefully they clean themselves up, pick it up again next week. But again, Christian Kirk is the one that's the standout for the 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you could get that guy, or if you already have him, you know, solid player. Keep with him, and you know, keep moving forward with them. I'm going to move over to the next game now, because like again, not much saying there in the Colts, and just for time's sake, we need to keep it moving, Ross. And we'll come back to you guys' answer. See, GG Mod Squad jumped in here too with some questions and some other guys here. So we'll get right back to it there. I just want to go and run through the games, so that we could get back to Q&A here with Anthony. Buccaneers 20, Saints 10 final. Again, I was worried about Brady. He did, low game again. I have him. I'm looking to probably pick up another QB because you can't just have these performances keep happening, as well as Leonard Fournette, only 9 fantasy points. He did get 24 carries, 65 yards, just no TDs. So it's just a rough, slow game for them. Saints have a really good defense, and it probably had a lot to do with that. Mark Ingram did get his 7 point, 10 carries, 60 yards, 6 yard average yards per carry average. So it's a nice average for Mark Ingram, but just no TDs. So that really hurt his fantasy points as well. But Rashard Perryman, just the spotlight basically came out of nowhere. 5 for 3, 45 yards and a touchdown, while everybody else was hurting. Mike Evans got ejected halfway through the game. He didn't have Russell Gage, didn't have Julio Jones, and I can't even think of the other guy right now because I brain fart on that part. Um, but it's just the Buccaneers are just pulling the win out, and it's hard because it doesn't have everybody. Brady doesn't have everybody he needs, and I think that if you just hold on a week or two, let everybody come back, then we'll see where we're really at. Michael Thomas is still doing Michael Thomas things, so he's been solid, and Chris Olave has been really well as the rookie, getting 13 targets, 5 receptions for 80 yards, no touchdown on this one, but still pretty solid outing. Um, so the Mike Evans suspension is as Buck signed Cole Beasley is another big news out there is that they signed Cole Beasley because of all the injuries they have. But Chris Olave is the one that's led the Saints with the 13 targets through, though he only had a haul in 5, a team high for 80, 2.6 yard average. Depth of target led all receivers on both teams. So if you don't have Chris Olave or you can get Chris Olave, maybe he's another guy that's out there because it's the 1-2 combo with him and Michael Thomas. And I'm glad that Michael Thomas came back from his injury and he's looking good. I mean, he's looking really good. Um, so we're moving on from there. I think those are the highlights for that game. I don't remember anybody else doing too much more than that. That just needs to be said. Um, and we'll move on to Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. The Giants were favored by 2. Over under was 43 and a half. The Giants 19, Panthers 16. So they covered their spread there. Daniel Jones was running and gunning. He's literally the show over there. There's not too many stats to be throwing out on this game. Baker Mayfield went 14 to 29 for 145 and a touchdown. And Daniel Jones went 22 for 34, 176 and a touchdown. Uh, McCaffrey, 19 points, 15 carries, 102 yards. So that's solid. Just no touchdowns. You know what I mean? And that's what's hurting McCaffrey this year. I have McCaffrey, and I'm kind of like, what's going on here? But you got to start your starters. Don't freak out. It's still just week 2. DJ Moore is doing his thing, receiving 6 of 3, 43 yards and 1 touchdown to 7.2 yard average. So he's doing solid. Robbie Anderson just got 5 of 3 for 32. Um, Saquon is getting solid numbers still. And so he's got some receiving targets and rushing targets as well. Um, Saquon went 21 for 72 yards, but I think he got his touchdown receiving. No, he didn't get no touchdown receiving, but still a solid outing for him as well. Um, Anybody else? Let me see. Anybody else worth mentioning here? No, I don't think so. We'll move them right along because I just want to crash through these games real quick while Anthony's out, and we could get back to the Q&A part of it. And I see you guys keep sending your answers questions in. We'll get to them in a second. A Rock is in here with some questions. Stranded on second, still got some comments to say, and we'll move forward with some of these guys. Oh, what do I do with Godwin? Oh, thanks for bringing him up. You keep holding. He'll be back. He'll be back and he'll be fine. I would just hold steady and just wait. And that's who I couldn't remember. It's Chris Godwin that was also out on that game. So thanks for bringing him up. Let's see. New England, Patriots and Pittsburgh Steelers. Patriots were favored by 2.5. Over under was 40.5. The Patriots won 17. Steelers 14. Nelson Aguilar came back live with 6 catches, 110 yards, including the second quarter touchdown, and gave Pats the lead with the relinquished running back. Damian Harris was efficient at 71 yards for 15 carries with the score. So those are the highlights for those guys on the Pats side. Let's see, Steelers rookie George Pickens, 1 catch for 3 targets, second straight week. So I'm not sure if how long I would hold on to that guy anymore. It's rough. It's rough with some of these rookies that you're having high hopes for to see some good numbers from, but they're not. They're not producing the good numbers, and you're like, what are you going to do? Neither one of these quarterbacks are they really fantasy worthy. Mac Jones or Mitchell Trubisky, the numbers are just not there for fantasy relevance. Damian Harris is 15 for 71 to 4.7 yard carries and 1 TD. Ramondre Stevenson was 9 for 47. So he's getting his touches, just no touchdown. So maybe that would have saved his game had he had a touchdown. Najee got 15 for 49. And really, not much else to mention on these guys. Kendrick Warren, let's see. Pratt Freiermuth, the tight end, which we like. 7 for 4, 22, and a touchdown. So he gets his touchdowns here and there. You can't count that on every game, but he's still, if you need a streaming tight end or if you're hurting at tight end, that's one guy to go for, because he's going to produce for you a couple weeks here and there. Let's see where we're going to move forward here. So we're going to the later half of the games. The later half of the games, we had Falcons at 27 and the Rams 31. It was close. Yeah, it's not as close as the score turns out to be here. Marcus Mariota did 17 to 26 for 196, 2 touchdowns and 2 INTs. Matthew Stafford, 27 to 36 for 272, 3 touchdowns and 2 INTs as well. So Matthew Stafford's the one to keep rostering. Mariota's getting there though. He is on my waiver wire as like the third QB there. So if you need a QB on this side of it, he might be somebody you might want to look at. Cordero Patterson just, he had a touchdown last week, didn't get one this week. 10 for 41 yards, nothing great, nothing doing. Daryl Henderson still leading the pack over here. Well, not leading the pack this time, but he got 10 carries for 47 yards and the touchdown. But Cam Akers did get more carries this time for 15 for 44. Just didn't do much with his workload. So I'm still fading Cam Akers. I didn't care for him in the beginning of the season. I'm still worried about him. But Drake Linden is the player to be had here. He's 12 targets, 8 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts is the one that's just losing out, 3 for 2 and 19. I know that a lot of people who drafted Kyle Pitts high. I wasn't one of them. I was never sold on Kyle Pitts. I even have a gentleman's bet going against Kyle Pitts right now. Cooper Kupp doing Kupp things, obviously. Still 14 for 11 receptions, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. What else do you want from him? Allen Robinson came alive in this game, 5 for 4 for 53 and a touchdown. So he's getting something going on. And the tight end, Tyler Higbee, with a 9 for 771. So I think I have Tyler Higbee also on my waiver wire pickup for as far as tight ends over here. So another guy to be looking at there. So we'll take a break here because I'm talking really fast. Thanks for coming back, Anthony.
Nice. No, good
But I
stuff.
wanted to
Yeah,
kind of
what's
go
up?
back through because I was just kind of jamming through some of these guys. But Cooper Kupp recorded his 13 catches, 120 yards, and touchdowns against the Falcons. And Falcons first rounder again, Drake London. Is the one you want to be looking at. If you don't have him, I mean, we could go get for him and get some Tyler Higbee action. And we already had gone over the Seattle Seahawks and 49ers game, so we go skip on that. And we'll be heading into the Dallas Bengals game next. But let's go back through some of the questions here, the Q&As that you got. And I think we left off on second here with Caden, right? Caden? Should I trade Dalvin Cook for CeeDee Lamb, or did we went
No,
over?
we
No, we
did
went
that
over
one.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
We did
And then
A-Rock.
A-Rock.
It was Gigi. What's up, Bobby?
So we did A-Rock there for Amara Brown for Kamara? Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Did you talk about this, about Greg Dortch,
No.
when you were talking about the Arizona game?
No.
So keep an eye on this guy. He's producing. Like I said, he's kind of been that go-to receiver. Just keep in mind, D-Hop is going to come back, but I think this just, raises D-Hop stock. We'll talk about him more in next week's, or not next week's, but tomorrow's show about, trades. Because to me, he's one of those trade targets, especially coming in the bye weeks here. He is going to come back after week 7 or for week 7. And if you can get him a few weeks earlier, if he's on a team that's, hurting because they've been stashing him, that's a good time to buy. So, but for now, if you need somebody, he's definitely got to throw in there. Bobby says Mike Williams for Kyler Murray. He has Cousins at quarterback. If this is one QB and you have, I guess he's trying to trade off a wide receiver for Kyler Murray. In one QB, we drafted Mike Williams in like the 3rd round. Kyler Murray is probably like a 7th, 8th round pick. Mike Williams is just kind of on the up and up right now. Obviously, with Keenan Allen, out, good chance he might come back again, but it could easily be re-aggravated. So I'd personally probably try to stay with Williams. I think Cousins is okay, but I can understand how after last week's performance, you're a little scared with that type of floor. But Kyler Murray, if you've been watching those games, they're like a heart attack. He's been doing it all like in the 4th quarter. So
yeah,
it's not.
Sometimes there's garbage time, but there's not always garbage time, right?
Yeah. So again, that's a tough one. I think it just really depends on the build and everything like that. But again, if you're not feeling Cousins, I always say, rule number 1 in fantasy, make sure you're playing with guys you want. And if, there's nothing else worse than losing with guys you don't even like. So at least if you're going to go down swinging with guys that you like.
Yeah.
So if you feel like that's an upgrade, for you, go ahead and do it. I'd probably try to get it for a little less than that. I don't think a quarterback's worth like a borderline wide receiver 1-2 in a 1 QB league. I think it's a lot closer in a super flex league. But
I think you would be better off picking up, a Jared Goff or Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, Wentz, something like that. Like you're going to get that same type of, production, so to speak, versus Cousins. You kind of already waited on quarterback anyway to get like, these, bottom 4 of 12. So you should kind of be comfortable, and you built your team to make up for that quarterback loss, with that wide receiver early. So, again, that just comes down into, a bunch of other stuff. So we could take that offline. Just start to geek out too much when we start getting into these trades. What does this say? Chief and Abby? Chief and Abby. I think that's what it says. Or Chef and Obi. It could be either one. Either way, let us know how we pronunciate that. But they're saying literally just traded CH and
that's a
Brian
Chef.
Robinson.
Look at his icon.
Oh, okay, so that's why. Yeah, that's what I mean. So Chef and Nobby. I don't know. We'll get it. Either way, we appreciate you liking and subscribing. It says I just traded CH and Brian Robinson for Tony Pollard and Breece Hall. Man, that's a tough trade, man. I think I'd probably rather have the CH and Brian Robinson
side. Yeah, I don't know if I would have went away from that.
But if you, I think you'd want to sell high on kind of Tony Pollard. I think he sold you a little high after this Tony Pollard game. And on a Breece Hall game, which we were kind of just talking about, that was going to kind of stay split. So I don't like the trade as much. I'd probably kind of grade it, and I hope this doesn't, we don't lose your subscription for this. But I kind of would grade it more closer to like a B- or even a C, C range.
I'd be legit C minus even.
Yeah, I think you could have got more for CH right now.
Is on fire. As Zaya Pacheco isn't even, chipping away or nothing. Like literally, CEH is.
But again, if you like, if you like these guys, then like I just said, like go get them. Like if you're not feeling Brian Robinson and CEH, and you think that's an upgrade, and obviously you accepted it, so you see what it is. If it's Dynasty, I like it a lot better in Dynasty. Probably. These are all young guys either way. But yeah. So either way, man, I hope it works out regardless. I'm not wishing ill will or anything on you. Just maybe not something I personally would have done. I like me some Brian Robinson. All right. So he says, oh, that was when he was still talking about the other stuff. So, and thanks for the insight. All right. And then you got to this, what do I do with Godwin? We keep him, right?
I kind of mentioned, yeah.
All right. So we got
sweet.
Yeah.
Hold that.
Hurt season in the house. He's saying someone offered me Aaron Jones, DK, and Montgomery for Mixon. Was this the guy offering the other guy the trade in the the beginning of the show? Like,
Oh wow!
are we
What if they are doing
negotiating
this?
like both sides?
Yeah,
So he's like,
exactly.
yeah, someone just offered this to me. They're like in random leagues, but they end up meeting here on Get Right.
Yeah,
No,
crazy.
so it's a different trade. This one we got Aaron Jones, DK, and Montgomery for Mixon. I mean, Aaron Jones was just the RB2 of the week. Had a blow up game. You know, this is why. Excuse me. This is why it sucks that this is a split backfield. If Aaron Jones was like a full-time back, like this is what we expect him to be. And he was like this for like a half a
Yeah,
year until like Ty
right.
Montgomery came in the back half of the year because he got a little hurt. And then, they're like, oh no. But this is what got him his contract because he has these just 3 touchdown games like randomly, or just, can explode. Um, you're getting Aaron Jones, Montgomery, and DK for Mixon. I mean, that's a lot of quality for quantity. I mean, I might pull the trigger on that. I mean, to me, I don't really have Jones and Mixon that far apart. Um, and I don't think I have them a Montgomery and a DK apart. I mean, DK is more like a wide receiver 3 flex, right now in a PPR. Um, if you're feeling it, I mean, to me, I think you're
I'd
getting
rather
good
have the
value.
Aaron.
It
I'd
just
have
kind of
the Aaron
depends what you
Jones
want.
upside. Like I just feel Aaron Jones is still. I know that Dylan's there and that whole thing, but I just still like Aaron Jones better.
Yeah. And you're getting Montgomery and DK with it. So maybe you can package that and get something else and, you know, who knows. So maybe go grab a CMC if you're a CMC fan.
Yeah.
With those other pieces. Anyway,
So what's up after season one?
FF seasoning saying what's up. It's like an unfamiliar face in the Get Right crew here
Community,
today.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got like a special guest, Fishing Frank, in the house tonight.
yeah.
Guest special guest on his own podcast.
Exactly.
That's how you know you're balling. We got Elite Diz in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for the subscribe. Saying Eckler thoughts and CeeDee Lamb. I also have Prescott. I picked up Tua and Wentz, and I have 3 QBs, and it's just awkward. It is awkward, but I think it's kind of like a necessary evil almost that you kind of have to do right now. Maybe play that matchup. I mean, if you can obviously trade Tua after the game, or he just
Yeah.
had, maybe see what you can get to
You could
upgrade
even trade
a
Tua
different
or
position.
Wentz. Both of
Yeah,
them
like
would be tradable right now.
or at least trade one so you're not stuck in the decision of which one to start each week, and then just start the one until Dak gets back.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if you have a IR spot, it's a little easier. You throw them in the IR. Make sure you check for that. A lot of people sometimes don't even know they have an IR spot. So click on your guy when he's hurt, and at the bottom, if it says like IR instead of a bench spot, you can put him in there. So check that out. And then if that's the case, I don't mind holding the 2 quarterbacks. In a 1 QB league, nothing wrong with that. You got one in your IR, and just kind of ride it out and see how
Yeah,
it
and
goes.
as far as CD, we're treating him as a wide receiver 2 at this point.
Yeah, kind of
Uh,
low end,
yeah,
floor of like a low end too. I mean, he may have a dud week here and there, like 2 for 30. Like I see that in his outcome, but yeah,
that Eckler though, what do you think?
I think Eckler's fine.
Yeah, I do too. You just hold pat. You'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just traded for him.
I think we're more concerned about your 3 wide receiver situation, and I think that
Quarterbacks, but yeah,
3
little
quarterback situation,
Freudian
and
slip.
figure out exactly. Figure out what you can do. See if you can trade somebody off if you can. If not, it's a necessary evil for you at this point,
Right.
and be happy that you have those. Honestly,
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Should I trade DJ Moore and Lazard for Michael Pittman? I say yes. What about you, Frank?
yeah,
I would do that.
yeah, I would.
Yeah. I mean, I like buying low on guys that are hurt. I mean, DJ Moore's not playing great.
And
I still like DJ
he's got
Moore.
Justin Jefferson, Curtis Samuel, and Sutton on
Oh
as my
yeah,
other
even if
receivers.
it's 3
Even
wide
more so.
receiver league, yeah, you're good. Definitely in 2 wide receiver, absolutely, not a problem at all.
And we're back to the chef.
Yep. Okay, so we kind of went out of
Yeah.
went out
We
of
went out
turn
of order.
there. Oh yeah, there we go. Or maybe they just popped up. Maybe they're maybe because they're new subscribers. GG Mob Squad saying for sure when we were answering his. Cole Pierce, what's up, Cole? In here saying I traded Deontay and Devonta for Amon Ra on Friday, and then beat him this week. Traded the guy, got his guys, and then
and beat
destroyed
him
him
with
with
his
them.
own guys. That's
Yeah,
just perfect.
that's awesome. Well done. A
Yeah,
plus, A plus on that.
yeah, for sure.
Welcome to Get Right, man. I think I've seen Cole in here before. Abraham saying Curtis Samuel or Lazard going forward. Man, this is like the known again versus like the unknown.
I'm
Like,
going with Curtis Samuel.
gosh, dude,
You
but
know what you're getting.
Lazard with Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, the ceiling I think is higher with those
When's that
two.
gonna happen though?
There's been there's been no evidence that it's even gonna happen or about to happen. I mean, you'd like to see, the only thing you hang your hat on is the touchdown upside Lazard had at the end of the year. He
Yeah,
misses week 1, they look terrible. Come back week 2, playing a lot better with him in the lineup, and he
but
scores a touchdown.
they were running all kinds of
But
crazy.
that's what I mean. But then that opens up the pass, and they're
Yes,
a
I
lot more
agree.
balanced. And
But they
he
were running away
obviously,
with that whole
we know
game
Aaron
anyway, so it was
Jones
just so easy for them
or we
anyway.
know Aaron Rodgers. He throws it to people he trusts.
You'll
And
know next
remember,
week when they play Tampa Bay, a good
yeah,
defense
if he has another good game, I
against a
mean,
good defense, then you could go with
yeah,
Lazard.
I'm
But if he
almost
does, if
leaning
he's no
Lazard.
show next week, you'll know what to do.
Trade Curtis Samuel and keep Lazard. Put it that way. That's what I would try to do. I wouldn't just drop one of them though. I would try
Don't
to,
drop,
if
don't drop.
anything, try to just package both of them and get a guy that for sure is better than both.
Yeah,
All
something
right,
to
so I
go
think we're finally
1-1.
caught up. All right,
Yeah,
so we're caught up here on the chats. If you do have more questions, fire them off in there. In the meantime, if you're checking it out, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button. It helps us just as much. So definitely do that. We appreciate it. Check the description for our private sleeper channel. So if you don't catch us live here to get to ask your question, you can upload photos, right to our thread. Tag us in it at Rastafarian, like you see right here, which is on Twitter and Sleeper, spelt just like that. And we'll grade it, give you your thoughts, feedback, real time. It doesn't cost anything to join it. So again, just hit the description. I moved it up to the very first thing you see in our description is the Get Right Sleeper channel. Ooh, I need some water for this promo.
yeah, you got to keep it hydrated.
But yeah, so just hit that, join us, man. Upload your photos there, and we can definitely help you out, especially if it's more in depth and you want a longer breakdown than what we can do here with you on the show. So
Yeah,
keep them coming. We'll break down a
we
couple
got.
more teams, and then we'll hit the chat again.
All
All
right,
right.
so
So
we're
where'd we leave off?
we're leaving off. We started off here at Cincinnati Bengals at the Cowboys. Here, Bengals were favored by 7.5. Over under was 41.5 points. The Cowboys got the win. They got 20. Cowboys 20, Bengals 17. Uh, Cooper Rush finished with 19 to 31, 235 yards and a touchdown.
Decent.
Um, decent. The receiving guy was Noah Brown, though, deserves recognition to Dallas. He ended up having all 5 of his targets, 91 yards, and a touchdown. But that doesn't mean the CD Lamb had a bad game. It just was not his touchdown day. He did get 1 rush for 6, not important there. He did have 11 targets for 7 receptions, 75 yards. So the production is going to, be there for CD, which is what we want. We want the targets. We want the numbers. Eventually, the touchdowns will come as well. Tony Pollard is the one that was, highlighting as far as the rushing was concerned. 9 carries for 43 yards, 4.8 yard average, 1 touchdown. Zeke got 15 carries. Had the bulk of the carries, but only got 53 yards, 0 touchdowns. So it was a Tony Pollard rushing game there that day, which is going to be happening. It's going to be a hot hand type of thing. I think they're going to be spelling Zeke. I think Pollard has always had and has been showing the burst and just runability. I guess I don't know how to put it for over Zeke the last couple of years, and I think we're looking at Zeke probably going to be traded at the end of the year, or just been done in Dallas, and it's going to be Tony Pollard show going forward. That's why a lot of guys in um, the keeper leagues and things like that, or dynasty leagues, are leaning to Pollard already, and we're leaning towards Pollard earlier in the season. As far as the Bengals is concerned, Joe Burrow I think is struggling. 24-36, 199 yards on the touchdown. You still got Jamar Chase getting his numbers as well as T Higgins, highlighting at 10 catches, 10 targets, 6 for 71, and a touchdown there. But Jamar Chase was only 1 target less 5 receptions, 54 yards. So all those guys are doing pretty well. I'm just not sure what it is with that team. It took them a little while to get started. I think finally in the second half is when they started coming back, and then the Dallas put a stop to that, and did their thing and kept going, and did it end up with the win with the help of Cooper Rush, some rushing and passing there. Any highlights that you had, Anthony?
No Brown, man. I know he's not owned in a lot of leagues out there. You got to check him out. Keep your eye, of course, though. Michael Gallup should be coming back. Obviously, like we said, CD's not going anywhere with 11 targets, 7 for 75. You throw a touchdown on that, that's a really good day. Um,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
said Gallup would be back next game, but he's going to be on the pitch count.
Right. So, we'll see though. I mean, has Noah Brown, carved out a little role for himself. They talk about how he and Rush do have good chemistry, obviously
Yes.
playing on the practice squad together. And we know
Yeah.
how important chemistry is. You just feel comfortable. You know where that guy's going to be with that timing. So you just feel comfortable because you've ran it in practice all the
Yeah. You've
time.
practiced with the guy for so long
Yeah,
that
you haven't
he's
been
your guy.
practicing with CD and the ones and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like those guys are good because they're usually where they are supposed to be because they're just that good. But when you play with someone, you even have more of that. So just again, keep an eye on him, man. I think he's a good piece to swoop up if he's out there. And again, if you can package him and make him a piece to help a trade go through that you need to really benefit your team, I think he's a guy that has some value that you can add on to something like that. So again, pick him up off the wire to trade him later. That's definitely a good strategy. So, big news on this, of course, Dalton Schultz injury, PCL, could be out for a few weeks, maybe just miss one game, and there's also a chance he plays through it. They're saying it's the kind of similar injury that Zeke had, and we all know Zeke played through it. He didn't look great, but maybe that's just more as a running back. Can Schultz produce, while he's hurt? Will he have a drop in production for a while? I think there's, definitely good streaming tight end options out there. The Irv Smiths, maybe Taysom Hill has a bounce back, Gerald Everett, guys like that. Another one, Hayden Hurst here, who had 7 targets, 5 catches, only 24 yards. But again, you'd like to see 7 targets for a tight end. I think just keep your eye on that. And
And I'm fading him a little bit more than you are. I have him on my teams, and it just now that he's also injured and without Dak, I'm leaning more towards starting to stream a tight end
yeah,
going forward.
and
It's
that's
just
why, yeah,
just the situation is just not good enough for him. He had
right,
it. If he didn't get hurt, then I would still consider okay, yeah, let's see what happens one more week
right.
with Cooper Rush. But now with the injury on top of not having Dak, it's just to me it's time to like start looking elsewhere. At least for the next couple weeks until he's get healthy and Dak is back.
Yep. And there you go. So, kind of feeling the same way. The last kind of thing to update in regards to this game, not really involving the game, but just Dak in general. I don't know if we mentioned in the beginning, but news came out, I believe today, saying there's a best chance case scenario he plays Week 4 against the Commanders, or even Week 5 against the Rams. That would, you know, they said a base case because he's checking off all the boxes and all that, coach doctor speak that they have. So just kind of keep an eye on it. I mean, the last thing you want is him to rush back. So no pun intended. If Cooper Rush can keep the team afloat, they do have one of the easiest projected schedules as far as win percentage of last year's teams. We'll see see what they can do, and if he could just maybe keep them even 500, they won't have to rush Dak back as quick. So just kind of keep an eye on all that. But I think we're
Yeah,
just,
and that
really
first
happy to
win in
see
was
CD.
huge for
Yeah.
him to just like get that win, especially on
Right.
the Bengals are
And I
not a
hate to
bad
see
team.
it. And I hate
Yeah,
to see it.
yeah, exactly. Bengals are
I
not a
hate to
bad
see it.
team though. They're the ones that are really struggling, I
Well,
think,
they
right
are
now.
bad.
So,
Yeah. I'm like,
you
we
know,
might have to
like,
beg to differ on that one. They are kind of
yeah,
bad right now.
yeah.
All right.
When
So
they came up with the stat that 0-2 starting the season, you don't get to the Super Bowl.
that's crazy.
So,
All right. Well, there it is.
so now we got
So we'll
Texans
move on. Yeah, we'll
and
move on here
Broncos.
to the Texans. Go ahead, announce it.
Yeah, Texans and Broncos here. We have the uh, Broncos favored by 10. The over under was 45.5. Broncos win 16 to Texans 9.
You.
Uh, so yeah, ugly right there, right? Russell Wilson completed 14 to 31 for
Chris.
219 yards and 1 touchdown,
One
one
pick.
interception. So it's really not great numbers. I think that a lot of people are looking for a lot more out of Russell Wilson, how it's affecting Cortland Sutton, and things like that. Well, Sutton did do get his numbers. He got 11 targets, 7 receptions, 122.
Big
Um,
news, of course, is the Jerry Judy injury,
yeah, Jerry Judy's down, so then we got other people
the
coming up.
shoulder.
So, what did he have? A shoulder injury on
Yeah,
that?
well, they said originally a shoulder, but apparently it came out today it's a chest sternum injury. So
Right here. Let's see.
they're saying there's a chance, yeah, he might be able to play this weekend. Depends on pain tolerance and that kind of thing. So just we'll check the practice reports and see how things are going along. But expect DNP tomorrow for sure. But if he can get limited by Friday, there might be a chance he plays.
Exactly. So we got Javonte Williams doing his receiving numbers at 4 and 1, 10 yards. The rushing is where he was highlighted as 15 carries for 75 yards. So it's still, a split backfield with him and Melvin Gordon getting 10 touches for 47. Neither one of them getting a touchdown on that. So it was kind of, toss up game really between them. Um, Again, the Jerry Judy injury. Nico Collins had a good outing for the Texans. Get 9 targets, 4 receptions, 58 yards. Brandon Cooks is still the highlight over there at 10 targets, 4 receptions, 54 yards. So, and Damian Pierce had another Damian Pierce sighting. How do you feel about that guy? I mean, what do you think? He's going to be somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely someone you want to hold if anyone dropped him, at this point, or he gets dropped after these waivers, run this week. He would definitely be somebody I would look to target to grab.
Yeah.
The coaching staff said they want to, get him more touches. And when they say something like that, you always wonder if it's coach speak. But I think you saw it in itself. He was the only running back to record a carry in this game,
Yeah.
15 carries.
15.
Only the two running backs had two other carries. So it was all him. Rex Burkhead was involved in the passing game. He did have two catches for 9 yards. But Pierce did have one catch for 8 yards. So if they can trust him more on the field, to pass protect and get out in those routes and continue to make his progress. Again, he is a rookie and, he showed enough in camp to get that starting nod. And sometimes, they go with what they feel early because they can trust Burkhead. Maybe that he got that first game out of there, out of the way. They obviously trusted him here to give him more of a workload. So I do like, I like him. I like to see, what he can do. If you can buy him low right now, again, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But he'd definitely be someone, I'm looking at.
Yeah.
As
I
far as
like
picking
him,
up,
and we were really high
yeah,
on him after preseason, and his stock went up and up and up during preseason to get drafted. But unfortunately, he just kind of got to wait it out a little bit to really have him bust out and have some games. But he is on the Texans, who not the best. So
right,
many times they have to go away from the run game and things like that just to play catch up. So
yeah.
that kind of hurts him.
That's why it's
Uh,
so important if he can be trusted in pass pro and get on the field on third down, and be
yeah.
the true kind of workhorse type back. And then Burkhead just has more of like a more specialty type role. Then he could still be productive.
And this
Um,
this reminds me because I kind of went over, not to skip around, but I am going to
Very
skip
good.
around a little bit because I went over Travis Etienne and James Robinson. You know what I mean? Like we were kind of, I know that Etienne was drafted a lot higher than James Robinson, and now you have a flip flop in the situation of what's going on over there. Are you
Mhm.
holding Etienne? Are you worried about him? Is he a droppable?
No, I'm holding him definitely in PPR leagues. I think he'll have an opportunity. Later on. And of course, if there is an injury, he is the only other running
Yeah,
back
he'd be the
there.
next man
So
up for
he's no
sure.
different than like a Madison or anything like that. We've seen his burst, like we've seen, him make these electric plays, and we're literally a bad pass and a drop away from saying he was all worth, what, he was here to
Is that
be.
right? Yeah, I know.
I just think, this offense is just a lot better than they were last year. And just the team in general is a little better. Obviously, the coaching's a lot better under Doug EP. And we've seen, him, have guys, produce as far as fantasies. So, I stand corrected on the Christian Kirks of the world. Like you said, if we're jumping around, have we covered that game already? Did we already talk about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that was one of the ones I missed, but either way, he's
Christian Kirk was
definitely
the highlight of that one.
yeah.
Literally.
So I have to give my say my I was wrong when it came to Kirk. So at least after 2 weeks, I mean, it is a long season, but he's so far definitely been worth this pick and maybe even worth a little more. So yeah, so let's get to a couple questions while we still got the people here. Where'd we live off last time? We have Jordan Heckler in the house. What's up, Jordan? Saying good to see you guys. I lost last week, sadly, but nobody would have guessed AJ Dillon only got 7 points. I know that was tough. He's asking this week, should I start Debo or Patterson? Debo's facing the Bucks. We normally do our start sits on Friday and Sunday mornings because we'll know all about injuries and matchups and all that stuff by then, and really started diving into week 3. But out of the gate, to me, I'm starting my stud. You drafted Debo probably in the second round, maybe third if you got lucky. I don't think you're sitting him right now for Patterson. We've kind of seen his ceiling and seen his floor now this week. I'm sure you went over that game already.
And I think he
And
even mentions himself. Debo also has Jimmy back.
yeah. And so, is that good or
I think
bad?
you
I
answered,
think it is.
your own question. I think it's a
Yeah.
good thing for
So
him.
yeah. So
He's
I
good
think
for Debo, that's for sure.
absolutely. So I think you go there. We got Mano in the house. What's up, man? He's saying waiver half PPR moves, dropping Collins and Sky Moore, grabbing Shepard and Dortch. Thoughts? I'm good with Dortch, man, but Shepard, I'm not feeling it. If you look at the splits for those wide receivers, man, it's so crazy. Like, I don't even know. Can't even name the wide receiver that had the most targets there this week. It wasn't Shepard after a good first week, and it wasn't anybody else, that we even know of. I think Richie James had like 4 targets and stuff like that. I mean, I can pull the stats up here in front of me, but for the most part, I'm not trusting that. I'm trusting Saquon in that offense, and
Sterling Shepard has always
until
been
we
that guy,
see,
though, over there.
I mean, he had that long touchdown last week, man, and without that, he wouldn't have really done anything. Just in my opinion, I'm not falling for the Shepherd, after 2 weeks trick. Um, you know, I'm not doing it. Like I don't mind Dortch at all. Like he's produced. I'll fall for that. It's an unknown. He still has a few more weeks of value, in him. If you can get him, maybe trade him. I like that. He has value, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people have the same sentiments about Shepard, which is why he's on the waiver wire after the week 1 he had in the first place. So, I'm just saying I wouldn't touch it. That's just me.
Let's go for Dortch.
Go for
Basically.
Dortch.
Long-winded but short.
Yeah. And who are you keeping out of Moore and Collins then if he's going to keep one of those two?
Did we already answer this one? That's the thing.
Are you keeping Nico Collins, who just came off 9 targets, a 50-something yard game? Or are you keeping Sky Moore, who came off like a 0-yard game, but is attached to Mahomes with potentially Hardman being out with his injury? And does he have a role this week?
No.
I'd keep Sky Moore.
Really? I'd go the other way.
Yeah.
I like Collins.
I don't think Sky Moore has a chance to boom. Like, me. I'm boom or bust, like first or last. Like
he's last.
He's last. There you go. All right, so two different opinions there. We'll get to the next question. Abraham in here's saying that's the thing I was wondering, who to package with DJ Moore for Pittman between Lazard and Curtis. Oh, okay. That's a correction of the
previous question.
Yeah, the other question. So I would rather keep Lazard, so I'd like to package DJ Moore and Curtis. I would give those 2 away for Pittman and then keep Lazard. I literally have, I think, 2 teams that have both those guys on there. That's just me. What do you think, Frank? Well, you're probably the other way around, right? You like Curtis a little more. So you'd say
a little bit more than Lazard.
Yeah, Pittman Lazard. So Abraham, this is how we do it, man. We'll come back tomorrow. Dustin and Mike,
Classic
Mike will be
third
here.
Or fourth opinions.
We'll get a third or fourth opinion. Maybe you'll hear their viewpoints and
still be split.
Agree with one of them or still be split. We'll see if we can break the tie somehow. We might have to call from someone in the chat to break the tie. So let's say Stranded with Tony here says, someone just sent me a trade proposal. I get Stafford, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, and Miles Sanders for Wentz and Jefferson's untradeable. Like, I don't someone could literally trade you their whole team for Jefferson, and I'd be like, I'll just keep Jefferson. Like even
You
after
want to
this,
take Tyreek and Nick Chubb?
it'd probably get vetoed in the first place. I mean, he's worth it. Like that's why this guy's willing. Like if this guy's willing to give all this for Jefferson, that should be the biggest red flag that you shouldn't do the trade.
Yeah.
Like
Usually why
that's
you
how
should know
good
that
he
you
is.
probably should
He's
not be
worth
doing it.
all of that in one position because you're trying to get the best person you can get
Yeah.
in each
He's
position.
this year's Cooper Kupp.
I mean, Cooper Cup's still this year's Cooper Cup. I mean,
Yeah, he's not doing
out of the
bad. I'm
big
just
three,
saying.
he's had the 2 boom weeks and just picked up right where he left off.
Yeah.
Chase and Jefferson have been up and down now. They had their boom week 1 and then
Yeah.
kind of came back to earth week 2. So Cup was definitely the right pick, at least out of week 2. But I still love Jefferson. I had him as my wide receiver 1 coming into the year. And, we'll see, man. But
Long
man,
and the
that's
short of
tough.
it,
I mean,
no.
that
That's a
is,
no.
yeah,
That's a
I'm just
no.
saying no because like I would think it would probably get vetoed or something crazy anyway. But
Why would it
I
not
mean,
go
he's
through?
worth it. I mean, he's worth all that. That's the
Yeah,
problem
but would it not go through? That's what I'm saying. Why would it not go through?
because that's a lot, dude. That's like a whole team. He's trading a whole team, a quarterback, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver. That's literally the core of a team for one guy and a
Or
backup
quarter,
guy
a backup
that
quarterback,
we
waiver
just got
wire
off the
quarter.
waiver.
Yeah, we just got a waiver.
I mean, this is literally a trade I would send to somebody. So like, if I'm
Yeah.
saying don't do it, like, don't do
That's
it.
how you know.
But
That's how you know how Anthony trades right there.
but I would because it's worth it. But like, I'm trying to get that
Yeah.
one big guy because I'm like, I'll just fill in for these other guys. Like, I could fill in, find someone for Stafford and Sanders. Like, I'll just figure that out on the wire. But if I can turn Hill and Nick Chubb into Jefferson, that's just a steal to me. I mean, how often is Hill going to go for 170 and 2? Maybe I just put that in the butterfly effect atmosphere. So anyway, so
moving
that's
on
where
down
I'm at.
some
That's
other
tough.
stuff
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
happening there. I'm literally 50-50 on Curtis and Lazard. We're pretty close to it. I'll just go with what the bird in the hand than the like Anthony's like boomer bust. I'd rather go with Lazard. And I'm like, I'd rather go with the guys producing right now.
There you go.
Should I drop Gainwell for Mostert in a 16-team league? Just a bench stash.
I would say no, because if
Really?
Sanders goes down, Gainwell has a lot more to gain. I mean, I guess you could say the same out of Mostert, but again, that offense runs through Hill and Waddle. You know what I'm saying? Like they barely even utilize their running backs, and they put up all these points. Edmonds and Mostert still barely got anything. I mean, again, they're kind of worth a stash, but like Gainwell to me, you can like play him. I think he scored another touchdown this week, didn't he? I mean, he's one of those efficient players. He only gets like 9 touches, but usually it's a touchdown or, you know, like a lot of passes. So it works in a PPR league. So,
Yeah, we're getting to that next game kind of pretty soon. So
yeah. So anyway, there it is. Did you
oh, you
screen through these
busted
or do
out
we
the
have
whole
any
team.
more?
You busted out
Oh,
the whole
okay.
team.
See, Joker, this is why we have to say tomorrow we're doing our roster management show, man. So we're going to get through the rest of these waiver wires and game breakdowns. Come back tomorrow night. We'll be here at 8 p.m. Pacific,
Yeah, we're running
11
long right
p.m.
now.
Eastern. Yeah, man, and we'll get more into these. Or hit that description after you hit the subscribe button and join our private sleeper league. Upload a photo of your team. You can just take a screenshot, create a new thread, and not only myself, our other co-hosts, as well as other people here in the community, will help comment on your team. And you get a bunch of different feedbacks. It's an awesome community.
Thoughts on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll help you through it, man. Be part of us. Get right degenerates. So get in there. Sharon said he turned it down. So good job, whatever it was.
It was that grade that got offered. Kurt is currently better.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at.
Down the line. Yeah, and that's what we're
That's
thinking. It could be.
All right,
Could
screen the rest
Again.
of those. See if we have anything else. I'll get us into at least this next breakdown, but prepare us for the end, and then we're almost done here. We're getting through it. All right, so we already talked about Cincinnati.
Well, this
We
is a
talked
good
about
question.
Houston.
I like this. Would you guys drop Eli Moore for Garrett Wilson?
No, I think I still like Moore a little better. I know Wilson just had that 2 touchdown game, but I still think I like Moore better.
More better?
Yeah.
I like Garrett Wilson. He sold me.
All right. Split decision. There it is.
Here it is. I traded Cook and my card for
LeBron,
Derrick
what's up,
Henry
man?
and Connor.
LeBron knows all
Nice.
about the private sleeper thread, man. He's in there always posting
Well, he mentioned this
his
stuff too.
questions and stuff in there. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my sleeper message about my trade, so I did see it, but we were already on air. I was wishing and hoping you would come on and catch us
Yeah,
live to ask
you're
us the
in here.
question,
We
man.
got you. We
So
got you.
he's saying I traded Cook and Michael Carter for Derrick Henry and Connor. I mean, I on the outside, I like it. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade, I think. I am a little like it's probably one of the first times in years I've been a little worried about Henry. We'll see, just because that team just kind of looked in all kinds of disarray. I mean, it was the Bills.
I'm
They
worried
made
about Henry. I got Henry. I'm worried
they
about
made this. I mean, they made the maybe we'll get a trade. No, they made I mean, the Bills made, the Rams look terrible, the Super Bowl champions who came back with basically the same team and made them look mortal. I just think the
Yeah.
Bills are that good. Like you literally start questioning your own thoughts after they play
You
teams right
have
now.
yeah,
Like they're just
exactly.
Josh
The
Allen is on a tear
defense
right now. And
and
their
the
defense
defense is
has his
nasty.
swag. Like they know they have the QB that can take them there. And so
Yeah.
they're just playing out of their mind too.
Yeah.
They did get a lot of injuries, but still held them to 7 points. I mean, it was crazy. Oliver's out. I mean, a bunch of guys. So
So we'll see next week.
Milano, yeah. So anyway, see, I'm on that IDP stuff now, so I got to be paying attention to that stuff. But yeah, so I like it, man. I think it's a good trade. Henry and Connor. I mean, it doesn't look great now, but you kind of bought low on him. Cook's not doing that great himself either, so you're kind of just trading high end trash for high end trash, I guess you would say. I mean, they're not trash, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's high end, so it's like luxurious garbage. Like, you know, just because they're doing bad right now. So um I like it, man. I definitely think it could be an upgrade overall. So how bad was Renfro's injury? I still haven't heard too much on that. We'll probably get more tomorrow.
Yeah,
So again,
I'm
check in
looking
with
through
us
our injury
tomorrow.
stuff right now, and I don't think we even
Yeah,
got any updates yet
because it
on that.
happened so late in the game. There wasn't, it was literally the last play. It's what cost them the game. So, which I think we're gonna get to
And trust me, these
literally
guys are
next.
on the
Hey,
on the
that's
on the
perfect.
on their injury.
Perfect segue. Let's go. Arizona Cardinals at Las Vegas Raiders. The Ravens were favored by 5.5. 51.5 point over under was projected, and they got just over that. So 29 Cardinals, Raiders 23. It was an amazing game. Obviously, play of the game was Kyler Murray running around 84 point something yards to score a 2-yard 2 point conversion. So his little legs were just running around everywhere, covering 84 total yards to get a 2-yard gain. So that just kind of shows you the kind of disarray that this Cardinals offense is in, but somehow he keeps pulling it out. So just like kind of Gigi was saying, earlier, do you go get Kyler Murray? I mean, it's not pretty. It's kind of like Matt Ryan a couple years ago, which is why I just got away from Matt Ryan because I was like, if you're watching the game, it just gives you a heart attack. Like he's not doing nothing all game, and then at the end he finishes with like 25, 28 points, and you're like, okay, like I can deal with that. But getting there is just so brutal that garbage time, really adds up. So,
In this case,
um,
OT.
exactly, yeah, and an OT. So again, we've talked to, as far as waiver wire guys go in this one, we're talking about Greg Dortch. We're also talking about Daryl Williams, man, and Benjamin, because we did see James Conner go down with an ankle in this one. The initial things and everything that's coming back is saying that it's not serious, it's not long term. He was still in his pads on the sidelines. You saw him celebrating with the team right after the game. He had his helmet off, but he was jumping around and doing stuff. Didn't have his foot in a boot or anything like that. And he didn't get back in the game, and it was a close game, obviously going in OT. So he's definitely hurt enough to not be able to finish the game. And we saw what Daryl Williams is able to do. We saw him fill in for CEH last year and helped people, win. He was one of those kind of league winner guys that you picked up off the wire last year. So definitely get him, stash him. You can go with Benjamin as well, just depending which way they go. Just in case Connor does sit, I do see it more of a split. And you never know who might earn a role when Connor comes back. If they want to make sure they keep him healthy. So, with that said, you want to talk about the Raider side and then no show from Devontae and um, what you think there, Darren Waller sighting and all that.
Well, we got Josh Jacobs getting 19 carries for 69 yards. Zamir White, who was a hopeful, and people are still holding on to him with only 1 carry, 2 yards. So not much going on there. Darren Waller did get 8 for 6 at 50 yards and a touchdown. Renfro did 10 targets, leading the Raiders there. 7 catches, 59 yards. And again, we're looking to see what's going on with that injury. Matt Collins is another guy that just popped up in there, but Davante Adams is like the loser in this bunch at 7 targets, 2 receptions for 12, right? One TD.
Touchdown saved us.
Yeah, I
Touchdown
mean, but if
saved
if
us.
he did not have that touchdown, you'd be worried big time for Davante Adams. And it was a total reversal what happened in the previous game where Davante Adams was definitely featured and what's going on.
Yeah,
The offense is
17
going through here.
targets. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they need to target him more. Obviously, they need to figure out how to get him the ball, and they could get the wins. I'm not sure why he wasn't featured more towards the end of this game and everything else that was going on.
Yeah.
But
And
they
can you
needed,
tell me who's Mac Hollins? Like
yeah,
it felt like that's
exactly.
all they kept saying. Mac Hollins, Mac and
Yeah,
throw to Mac Hollins and Mac. I was like, is Devontae Adams hurt? Like
yeah,
what's going on?
yeah.
But yeah, I mean
So
he
maybe
gets
they
eight
were
eight
maybe
targets.
that's where their team was the plan is that take out Devontae Adams, let him beat him with everybody else who they got.
Yeah.
And maybe that's who they have. They got Matt Collins and Darren Waller and Hunter
Yeah.
Renfro.
And
I
it
mean, these
worked.
3
I
guys,
mean it
and it
worked.
worked.
It worked somehow. Yeah, it was crazy, man. So
I
I
mean,
mean,
the
are we
Raiders
are
were
we picking
winning
up
most of the
this?
game, and they were, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the game, but obviously Raiders were winning most of the game. It was just towards the end of the game that really it was all by Kyler Murray catching him up, getting him in there to get that score to get it tied up, and then um, really it was just an unfortunate. Well, actually the Raider guys were holding on to the ball very well and dropping the ball, and that guy just did a scoop and run, and boom, game's over.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Back-to-back fumbles by
yeah,
Hunter Renfro. They recovered the first one, and then of course the last one cost them the game. So, if Hunter Renfro is out, are we picking up this Mac Collins guy? Are we Mac
I would say
Collins?
so.
Like, are we
I would
picking him
say
up? Do you think this is a
yes, you
1 week
did.
wonder? How you feeling?
I'd say. It depends on how deep your league is and what you guys are. He's not on my waiver wire list today, so
Okay. And I
you got
mean,
Garrett
Renfro
Wilson,
did lead the Raiders in
Dawson, and
targets. Yeah,
Jacoby
10
Myers
targets.
is just my top 3. So if you're beyond those guys, then I would start looking at in deeper leagues and things like that. But I wouldn't, dude. I'm not gonna get sold on that. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a weekly thing.
exactly. So yeah, man. So tough game there. Again, like we mentioned, we did have a little bit of a Darren Waller sighting. 8 targets, 6 catches, 50 yards, and that touchdown. He looked pretty pumped up after that one. And yeah, so just kind of keep an eye, on these guys. Like I said, Daryl Williams, Benjamin. I think AJ Green, even though he had 7 targets, he only had 3 catches for 16 yards. I think he's droppable. I'd much rather have Dortch over AJ Green at this point. Uh, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
and that's
Yep.
pretty much it out of this game.
And
So
Ertz did all right, and so did Marquise Brown. I mean, Ertz got 11 targets for 8 receptions, 75 yards, and
mhm.
Marquise Brown's got his 11 targets, 6 receptions, 68 yards.
Terrible drop though that he
Yeah.
had.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was terrible.
But, I mean,
Anyway,
you getting the looks and targets equal, touchdowns and looks and all that stuff that we always
all that
say,
good
so
stuff, man.
you
Good
gotta get
stuff.
the looks. So, yeah, moving on because we do
Moving
need
on.
to wrap it up, so
Get it here. So where are we at? Bears Packers next? Is that
Bears,
where we're at?
Packers.
All right. So we
Is
got
this the
Packers
last game?
27, Bears. Then I think we got the Monday night. Now we're on Sunday night. So we got Bears Packers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Packers pull this one off. They bounce back to go 1-1, 27-10 over the Bears. Um, you know, not too much really to kind of report in this game. Aaron Jones goes crazy, star of the game, 15 carries for 132 and a touchdown on the ground, and then in the air goes 3 for 38, another touchdown. So has a great game there. We had a David Montgomery sighting. He came back, kind of showed out, took that backfield back after the rainy game last week. 15 carries. Khalil Herbert only got 4. Justin Fields, of course, was in there with 8. But Montgomery got a 15 for 122.
Yeah, for
So
sure,
you'd like
yeah.
to see that again. And
I'd still would
had 2 for
handcuff
14 in the
Khalil
passing game.
Herbert, though, because you know what's gonna
Oh,
happen if
absolutely.
this guy gets hurt or anything else like that. Khalil Herbert has shown that he could carry the load over here for the Bears as well.
hmm I think the biggest questions here, come probably from the wide receivers in this game on both sides. What are we doing with Darnell Mooney? What are we doing with Cole Kmet? Combined, the two of them scored 0.6 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, this Bears passing game is non-existent, I would say, at this point. I mean, Equanimeous St. Brown led the receiving core with, 4 targets for 2 catches for 39 yards. So right now, Fields, has that kind of rushing floor, I guess you would say. But even still, didn't even get you double-digit fantasy points this week. So I'm kind of fading, a lot of the guys on the offense here. Montgomery's still going to be in there. Like we said, if Herbert's out there, you definitely want to have him. I think Mooney's actually on the wire in one of our leagues and a 2 wide receiver league, and he stayed there. And I don't think anyone has.
Nobody's reaching out for him. Nobody has
picking him up.
Yeah, exactly. He could stay there till he gets 2-3 solid games on his belt. And I just don't see that happening. I don't see Justin Fields being that guy. He reminds me of Trey Lance. He's like the Trey Lance to me.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. This Packers defense is good, so it could have just been a combination of those 2 things, and then wanting to prove a point. And we all know Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, so it's
they still had that sign out. I've seen
he owns the Bears. So again, that's what we're doing on that side. As far as the Packers side go, man, and the receivers, obviously we had a little Sammy Watkins sighting, 3 for 93. We did have Lazard only getting 3 targets for 2 catches, but he did get that touchdown, only 13 yards, just kind of getting worked back in. We saw him go to Cobb, in some important, times. He goes 3 for 37, caught, all 3 of his targets. But Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers thing, spreading the ball out. Again, Sammy Watkins led the receiving core with 4 targets.
Yeah, if you're looking at the targets and the receptions, nobody got, except for Sammy Watkins, as leading the pack with 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah, nobody had more than 4 targets in this entire game on both sides of the ball. So we're just gonna have to see how these things, shake out. Can they get concentrated? Can someone emerge? So at this point, you kind of, take your chances with maybe a Dobbs, maybe a Watson, maybe a Lazard, because we're waiting for someone to emerge, and maybe Lazard's that guy. So he's the only one. I'm still rostering. Yeah,
if you can, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm not panicking on Dylan either. So yeah, you're firing him up next week. All right. So that was pretty quick on that one. Anything else we got to get to on that game, or we'll kind of start flying through? And even if we missed a couple things, so let's get to this. This one will be quick. Bills Titans
doubleheader.
Yeah. So this was crazy, man. 41-7 Bills over the Titans. 49.5 point over under, I believe it was, or 47, something like that. I'm not even on the sheet anymore. Where are we at?
It was Bills were favored by 10, and over under was 47.5.
There we go. And so no Gabe Davis. He rolled his ankle late in the week. We all got that notification. I actually for playing in 10 leagues now. Forgot to take him out of one of my lineups, and ended up losing that match. I don't know if I would have won, even if I would have played who I would have played anyway. But still, kind of sucks to have that happen. I got a reputation to uphold, and I don't take kindly to that. So make sure that doesn't happen again. But either way, we had a late scratch from him. I know people were scrounging to grab McKenzie, grab Crowder, to see what they could do. But for the most part, Diggs just said, "Okay, Davis isn't here. We're not trying to pump him up. I'll just go back to the guy I know." 12 on 14 targets. Stephon Diggs of old, 148 yards. And of course, his 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen's a beast. Steph Diggs is still amazing. And, this probably the team to beat right now, I would say.
Yeah.
They look legit, man. They look like a tough team to beat.
They're talking Bills-Eagles.
That would be a nice matchup, man. We had them both playing. They were just playing at the same time in different fields.
Segues
hold on. Waiver wires. Are there any waiver wire guys? Like, are we touching McKenzie? Are we touching Crowder? Are these guys, we need to pull off the wire?
No.
Or are we just okay staying there? We're not spending fab on these guys. They're not really league winners at this point. James Cook, maybe if he fell, you could potentially stash him. But
who I would grab is their defense. Eagles. Oh, we're talking about the next game. So
there you go. Grab the Bills defense too. I mean, they're tight. They're right in there.
They were already taken. They were taken already for sure.
Bad part about this, of course, we kind of talked about it. Derrick Henry, just to touch on it. Only 13 carries, 25 yards. Obviously, he didn't play late in the game when it was a blowout. Got the 1 touchdown, kind of salvaged people's days. as far as the fantasy owners go. But otherwise, they kind of just stuck up the joint all around. I was happy with Treylon Burks. I think he's still a hold. I like the way they're using him. He did get 6 targets, 4 catches for 47 yards.
647. Yeah.
Showed some burst, able to get around the edge, things like that. So I just see him, getting a little better each week. That's what you want to continue to see. Woods is hanging around 4 for 5, 39 yards. I'd say he's, kind of droppable at this point, which sucks because, Bobby Trees, probably the first time I called him Robert Woods in years. Bobby Trees isn't kind of
Yeah.
Bobby Trees anymore. It's just Robert Woods now. So,
Yeah.
We'll see. Just this offense has a lot of things to correct. Their line looks pretty bad. So, if you can trade Henry, maybe consider it. I'll have to sleep on that and let you guys know tomorrow about that one. So let's move on, man. Get through this last game. We'll finish up on these questions and try to get out of here. So let's see. Minnesota Vikings at Philadelphia Eagles. We had the Eagles favored by 2 with a 50.5 point over under. Eagles go 24-7s on the Vikings. Hurts just kind of dominated this game, was the showcase guy. I'll let you talk about him since you have him in a lot of places. I have him in a lot of places too. And a little controversy on that, but that's okay. Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of controversy, but that's all good.
He went for 26 to 31, 333 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, but he was just running as well as throwing anywhere.
Right off those rushing stats.
Yeah, and he was just where's the rushing stats? Let me get to them real quick. But he was just doing everything. It was his show, and it was
throwing the
for
ball
him to
really well.
Yeah. He's looking really good, really crisp now. He's finally getting there. But Jalen Hurts led the team. Well, they didn't lead the team, but he had 11 carries for 57 and 2 touchdowns. Solid numbers there. Miles Sanders came in with 17 to 80 with 0 touchdowns, but still a decent game. And then somebody mentioned Gainwell earlier about the comments here. He only went 2 for 7. So, but like Anthony said, if something happens to Sanders, Gainwell's going to be the next man up. But they also still have Boston Scott in there involved. But that's not something I would worry about. But Devontae Smith got 7 for 7 and 80 yards. Quez Watkins.
Good bounce back after a goose egg last week.
Yeah, exactly. 2 for 2, 69 yards and a touchdown. So that was nice. And Dallas Goedert going for 6 for 5 for 82. Decent game. AJ Brown as well, getting 8 for 5. So everybody was eating in this game because it was just such a basically a one-sided game. They couldn't do anything defensively or offensively. It just took them all game just to get the score. Dalvin Cook unfortunately went for 6 or 17 in rushing, so that was dismal.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins we already talked about.
Yeah,
just
so
it's horrible. 221, but 3 picks, and they were costly picks, like in the red zone when they were just drive killers, and it just took everything they had out of them.
It took the win. Yeah, it took the win right out of their sails because they were just like that's what they had left. They put everything into these drives, and then they were just like deflating.
Boom. Yeah,
Right?
It was tough. Yeah.
So the Eagles' defense is the waiver wire pick. If you can get their defense there
you go, bringing your defense to the game. I like it, Frank.
So that's the one you want to get. So they were out there. They're not very much rostered, and they're definitely looking good for the rest of the season. So definitely worth a waiver wire pick and look for those guys. I might start looking for them myself, actually.
There you go. All right, man. So there it is. So we're finally done with the recaps. Let's get to some of the last questions and stuff we have here, and then we'll sign off here for the night.
Yeah.
So let's see. Where did we leave off? Let's see. I think we were here with Cade. Oh no, I think we were here with Cade. Hold on. I had it marked. So what's up, Cade? I don't know if I've seen you here before, but welcome to Get Right. Appreciate the subscribe. And again, if you guys have already subscribed, hit that like button for us as well. Cade's in here saying, I got Chase Edmonds and Damian Pierce on the bench, and Pollard and Akers are available. Should I drop either for either? So basically pick 2. Edmonds, Pierce, Pollard, and Akers. Which 2 do you want?
I think Pierce is coming up.
I think Pierce is my one for sure. It's harder on the second one. It really just depends on what you're
that's so hard. Pollard,
looking for on the bench.
Pollard or Edmonds. I'm fading Akers.
He's off on Akers.
So I'm either looking at Pollard or Edmonds, but
Gosh.
Damian Pierce is one I'd definitely keep.
Yeah, Pierce for sure, and I think it's going to be a toss up between that second one. Great question, Cade. For this one, rest of season, man, that's really tough. I would probably take my chances with the better offense and the better line, and a person that has more chances of, I think a higher percentage of things working out in a high producing offense. So I think I'm going to go against Frank on this one and say I'd go Pearson Akers.
I have yet to see it, so
Yeah.
not sold on Akers.
I mean, it's purely
Is it Hendo getting all the touches and everything?
not really. They kind of came back and gave him touches. He didn't do too much with it, but like I said,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
see more promise, opportunity there with Akers. Obviously Pollard is electric. I just don't think he's ever going to get the role, without an injury to Zeke and Edmonds. We've just seen them put up 30 points and go for 500 and plus yards of offense, and he didn't have any of it. So
it's all
that,
through the year.
yeah, it was tough. So a lot of other mouths to feed. They spend money in a lot of other places. So follow the money, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So I'd go Pearson Akers, and I think Frank, you said you're going Pearson Edmonds, or are you going Pearson Pollard?
I'm stuck between those two, but I would say Pollard.
You go Pollard, and he is a Cowboys fan, so I might be in a little. Maybe he used that as a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
whichever team you'd like to watch more, go with that team for your second one.
I just don't feel Akers is going to be doing much this year.
Yeah, I don't have a great feeling about it either. But I picked him up as like a RB3 in that guillotine league, and I do have Pierce and Akers on that team. So I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you to do exactly what I would do. I'm not going to tell you different than what I would personally do. And I literally can show you a screenshot of a team where I have Pierce and Akers.
That's the same dude right there. I got the same situation.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you, riding or dying. So it'll be either good or bad for both of us. I'll ride with you. That's what we do here on Get Right. So appreciate it, Cade. All right, so we got LeBron here, big supporter of the show and the channel. Sit one of these out of 4: Derrick Henry, Connor, Marquise Brown, or Dylan.
So that's going to be easy. Connor for right now, depending on his injury.
Yeah, I mean, if Connor's injured, that makes it easy. If they're all healthy, I still might sit Connor just because of the potential re-injury risk. I'd rather just start 3 guys we know are healthy. If all 4 were healthy, like let's say in a couple weeks from now, and you're still kind of feeling this, and we only know what we know now. Like again, if they were all healthy, I might sit Marquise Brown in standard or half PPR. I would maybe sit Dylan in a full PPR. But I'm just not that big on Marquise Brown. I mean, and especially like I wouldn't want to if I'm playing Connor, I don't want to play Connor and Brown. Like, I don't want to play them both. Like that's why.
Oh, I can see that.
So yeah, I try to trade one of them.
You're still not fading. We're
trying to trade Brown.
Anything about Derrick Henry that's going to get straightened out.
Yeah, you're starting him. It doesn't matter. Like you ride or die with that. So
yeah,
as long as he's healthy, he's in your lineup. You didn't draft him 1 overall to sit. So
yeah,
you just take your should have just drafted somebody else then.
take your losses, take your bruises with that guy, or
just
don't
roll with it or trade him. Like if you're not happy with it, at least trade him and get someone you're happy with. All right, so who do you like more going forward, Tua or Wentz? Tua or Wentz? It's like Tua.
Look who he's got: Tyreek Hill and Waddle.
I'll go recency bias and go with you too. I like Scary Terry and Dotson and Samuel, man. It's a nice little trio they got.
I don't think they're better than Tyreek Hill.
I don't think so either, but I think their defense is better than the Washington defense. And in fantasy, when you have a bad defense, it means you have to throw a lot, which means your quarterback's going to put up more points.
But I also seen Wentz fall on his face enough times to know better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we haven't seen Tua do that yet. So.
Yeah, we haven't seen Tua get his chance. He's got his chance to do that right now. But
yep. So
hey,
that's why we'll give you 2 different
and threw up some fabulous numbers. So
yeah, this is what we do. We leave you exactly where you started, right when you asked the question. We just help you think about it a little deeper. All right, so we got Duke Kent in the house here tonight. He says trade or hold Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, and for who? Maybe DeAndre Swift, CMC, Austin Eckler. Trade or hold Derrick Henry. So I was assuming you drafted Henry 1 and Barkley 2. I'm keeping that combo.
Barkley on fire right now, though.
Yeah, he kind of came a little bit back down to earth against whoever they played this last week, but
it wasn't bad.
I mean, yeah, I'd stick with the 2 of them. I think they're just kind of no brainers as far as getting the work. They're not going to play the Bills every week, so I know you're just coming off that 15 carry, 82 yards. I mean, it was still good yardage. I mean, you put a touchdown on that, and you're fine. you're okay with that. You're okay with 14 points from Derrick Henry. I mean, that's all it is the touchdown. He's getting the work. He's getting the touches. He's still producing yards per carry. It may not be
But
his
to
greatest.
question who would I go after? I would definitely go after Swift.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying hold. If you were going to
Yeah.
trade, I would trade for either one of those. I mean, I had CMC one at the beginning of the year, followed by actually Henry, and then JT, and then Eckler, and I believe Mixon were my top 5.
Fine.
I had Swift kind of close to 9, but he's definitely been producing, especially in PPR. If you can get CMC low for like a Derrick Henry right now, I would maybe try it. But I mean, because both of those offenses are pretty bad. But to me, I'd hold with Henry or Barkley. I like
Yeah.
that side.
No reason to panic.
Yeah, I'm good.
Relax.
Sweet too. Caden in here. Who you guys think scores more points rest of the season? AJ Brown or Dalvin Cook in PPR? Oh man, I don't really do my projections kind of like based on position against position like that. That's tough. Kind of thinking of them as flexes, especially these guys specifically. As far as roster construction, I still think if we redrafted again today, I still think Cook gets drafted before AJ Brown in a PPR league. So that's kind of the easiest way for me to kind of rank them. So I'd say definitely still hold on Cook. Again, it's only been 2 weeks. He can have. They're still human. They have bad games every once in a while. Let's see how he bounces back. AJ Brown's a beast. Either way, I think he was great value this year. So, but you're still taking Cook ahead of Brown, even if we redraft right now in a PPR.
Yeah. Rafi Bond.
Rafi, what's up, man? How's it going? Who else we got here? Who's the top quarterback
ad? I don't know. Me and Ant seems to do
this.
2-hour shows on these.
It's okay. Mike and I go 3 hours, man. So we'll try to get out of this.
Figure out how to slow this down.
We will, man. It's because of the people, man. We do it for the people. That's why. Yeah, it's for the people. All right, man. So who's the top quarterback ad? He lost Dak and now Lance. Damn, that's tough, bro. T-Law, Wentz, Goff are among the QBs available. I think all the above. I would, if you had to pick 2 out of these 3, or just rank these 3. Rank these 3.
Wentz, Goff, T-Law.
God. Fantasy wise, yeah. You know what? I'll make classic Mike happy and go Goff Wentz, T-Law. Even though I think if we redraft, T-Law gets drafted ahead of these guys because there was so much of the unknown of what T-Law can be. I don't think he has quite the weapons that these other 2 have, and their defense is actually pretty good in keeping him in games. So he's not really having to put up that many points. So yeah. But actually,
that came out okay because you're fading in and out a little bit now. Well, at least
Wentz,
your audio.
Goff, T-Law. Okay. Well, hopefully I'm good. All right, we'll finish this up. Just followed you guys on Twitter. Great show again, guys. So appreciate that. Yep, you can check us on Twitter as well. Definitely, we know you're subscribed, so we appreciate that. And
he was the first guy in today, so thanks for that.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, first in. So Rafi said, "Are you guys dropping Mooney at this point, or stashing on the bench for another week or 2, and see if the volume picks up?" I'm thinking got to throw out the first game playing in the water polo. Yeah, so we were kind of just saying the same thing, man. We're saying he's actually been dropped in a couple of our leagues, and actually in our home league. I wouldn't say it's like high stakes, $100 buy-in. It's a good amount, and he's sitting out there, and no one's taking him. So,
don't worry about him.
I mean, I don't think he's necessarily a mustache. I don't think really anyone, besides like a Jeff Wilson, maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo in a super flex, something like that, where you can maybe drop him, for one of those type of pickups. Otherwise, I think you just stash them. To me, picking guys up, without the intent of doing anything with them doesn't really make sense. I'd rather just invest in the guys you drafted and see how it plays out, unless somebody comes along that is going to have more value, or has more perceived value at that time that you can do something with, and kind of see how that goes. So that's just my stance on that. So any thoughts on that, or you want to send it out before any more questions come in?
No, I want to
keep them dropping, guys. If you have them, we'll answer.
From what you said, I don't just go around picking up guys just to pick up guys unless you have a plan for those guys and you legitimately want them on your bench, or you think that they're going to be, the next man up and producing those points because you're racing moves and roster spots. We were just talking about people blocking other players so they pick up a player that somebody else might need or whatever. Don't do that. That's just not. It doesn't help your team, and it doesn't make the fantasy football any better. So why bother doing any of that?
Yeah. I'm not a fan, but other times it could work for people, and if it worked, that's why they keep it going. But to me, I just try to focus on me and not the other teams unless I'm trying to trade with them.
Yeah.
Just understanding how they're built and constructed and where their weaknesses might be,
I would
to where
say
I can offer
if
some
Mike were
value.
here, I would
So,
say yes, he'd pick him up.
yeah, you might. So there it is. So yeah. So other than that, man, we got a. Well, we can talk about the Thursday night game in tomorrow's episode. So other than that, man, let's
Exactly.
get out of here. It's
Yeah.
getting late. So again, for Dustin, for Classic Mike, for Frank, for myself, this is Get Right Fantasy Network. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for us. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, talking trades, roster management, rest of season outlooks. This was supposed to just be a waiver wire and breakdown show, but of course, we're always taking live Q&A
Dude, I didn't
because
do all
this
my
is for
waiver
you,
wire
man.
guys.
Exactly. And so one
Wow.
last thing we want to say is make sure you get in here, man. Hit that subscribe button because we are going to give away a signed Gabe Davis jersey. So when we hit that 600 subscribers, we will drop a video. And you have to just be subscribed. That's the only thing you need to do to enter. So hit that subscribe button for us. And earn your opportunity at a Gabe Davis jersey. So that's another little nice picture of it. There it is, the real thing. It is verified and everything. So come get
It's
in
a
here
legit
and
jersey.
check it out. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I wouldn't be mad if I got to keep it myself or Classic Mike. He's not mad to keep it either. So but help us give it away, man. So
And we
there
win?
it is. Yeah,
we-
I don't know, man. I might throw myself in there and get a pseudonym going or something. No,
Yeah, I'm like in the faces.
it's like, yeah, this guy won.
Till my
I'm about
address
I'm about
comes up and they're like,
yeah,
where do
catfish
I know
smile
that
and
from?
yeah, hey, that's Frank's house.
Go
This
ahead.
is right next door to Frank. All right,
Bobby,
man.
if you're on, I'm gonna use your address.
We're gonna win that jersey. All right, guys. So again, we appreciate it, man. Hope you guys had a good week too. Again, just biggest thing is don't panic. Just ride the wave out. You know how you drafted your team. If you might have been weak early, to get stronger later when it counts. That's what matters. So again, join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific. Again, for all of us here at Get Right, to all of you degenerates out there, man, keep those sleeves rolled up, man. Put in that work, and we'll help you bring home the championship. So, other than that, man, have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace out. Thanks for watching.